What's up, everybody? How's it going? Hope you guys are having a good Saturday. All right. Well, as always, there's lots to talk about today, but we've got some more fun stuff on tap to watch and enjoy. Just so you guys know, I have set up a live notification on the Discord. So if you're not part of the Discord, you should probably join the Discord. Also there's a lot of cool people on the Discord that you could talk to as well. But if you haven't, join up. Also, if you guys are ever concerned about, me potentially being banned from YouTube during all the gulagging of the media and alternative media, you can also check me out on Twitch over there as well. So just want to give you guys a heads up on those things before we get started, because I always forget. I'm very forgetful in my old age. I can say it, old age. All right, who's here? Lots of people here. Holy Jesus. Mega Mew Mama. If you guys haven't subbed to Mega Mew Mama's channel over there, you should probably go over there and do that as well. Tia, what's up, Tia? Fancy. Fixer, congrats on the sub. Roxanne, I'm going to keep saying people's names over and over again because I see you guys chatting. Dee Dee, what's up, Dee Dee? Woke Mike, I saw you say it was 6 o'clock. It's not 6 o'clock here, okay? It's barely 5 o'clock here. We operate on completely different times, my friend. Mom's Russo, what's going on? We're getting ready for the Sparkler Zoom meeting tonight. Nice. Mitchell, what's happening? Oh, I think I might have the wrong earbud in. Always put the wrong earbud in. Did I say hi, Roxanne? I'm going to say hi, Roxanne, again. Hi, Roxanne. Natalie, what's going on, Natalie? Lots of you guys. Kay, what's going on? T. Freeman, what's happening? All right. R's wife's in there. Max Left is in there. Why is Leon so weird? It's a rhetorical question. What's up, Janelle? What's going on, Janelle? Nathan, what's happening? 7:59 over there, Natalie. I'm always behind you guys because California, we're always early in the California. Oh, you got your shirt on tonight? Nice. My wife created a new shirt on the bonfire for people to purchase. It is DTHF. All right. Wait. IHDT, I don't know. Anyways, it's I hate Donald Trump. I hate fucking Donald Trump. Something like that. I don't know. Ask her for the link. G'day from Australia. I love when you guys are here from Australia. You and Oz. No, Oz is Austria? Austria. I'll get it right. There's a lot of places that people come in here from, and I appreciate all of you guys. Paul coming in from the UK and stuff like that. I love seeing you guys. It's so fucking cool. It's so cool to see all the people from around the world. This is the most experience I've ever had with people outside the United States of America. So I appreciate you guys. Caleb, what's happening? All right. Well, today, hold on, I gotta fix my strings. Which string is this? Okay. Also, thank you to everybody that showed up during the Red Scare New York Times Clay Risen interview. It was a lot of fun. It had a lot of cool information, or scary information, to be honest with you. But it was a great interview, and I really enjoyed it, and I thought Clay really dropped a lot of facts on us with that interview. So if you haven't checked it out, go check it out for sure. And if you were there, thank you so much for showing up, because to be honest with you, that's the thing I like doing the most. I mean, I love being on live streams and talking to you guys, but as far as like videos I create and stuff like that outside of the live streams, it is 100% my favorite thing to do. And upcoming, we have a talk with a anthropologist about Ukraine and the history of Ukraine and how, the war with Russia has impacted it. So we've got that coming up at the end of the month. And we have this one as well. This is what I'm reading right now. This is currently what I'm reading right now. The COVID wars, America's struggle over personal Freedom, and Public Health with Ronald. I'm going to mess up his last name. We're going to need to ask him what that last name is. Grunier. Really good book so far. Taking me back to the COVID days. A lot of craziness that I thought I had remembered, but I did not. And so we're reading that, but as is always the case, I'm reading multiple books. So we're reading the George C. Marshall, Making of a Leader book as well, and I've got another book. I'm always reading like 2 or 3 books at a time. I've got a for funsy book from Brandon Sanderson that I'm also reading. So hope you guys will be there to check out those 2 interviews as well. Those interviews will happen at the end of the month, and then we'll get them posted, and they'll also obviously be available on Spotify and Amazon and Apple and all the podcast places as well. So hope you guys can come and listen to some of those. They're pretty amazing. They're fun times. Christina, what's up, Christina? All right. Well, we've got a lot of videos to get to today because there's a lot of both funny videos and some videos, talking about a little bit of, what's going on. We've got a weird Elon video of him making some forks fly around. I don't know what's going on anymore, guys. We've got a Channel 5 video on how Elon got red-pilled. I thought that would be pretty good. We've got a video from a comedian making fun of Donald Trump and the March Madness bracket going on as well. We do have the Professor Dave trans mice video queued up again. I really want to get to that. It's really long, so it's been difficult to kind of like watch it because, a 35-minute video is going to turn into a 2-hour long video for me. And then a little bit of what Anonymous alleges to have proof that Elon interfered with the election. So we've got lots of videos to get to. We'll get right into it, so that way I don't just sit up here ranting the whole day. I'm going to click a button. I'm going to hope that it goes to the right place. Boom! We did it! Like magic. Like magic. I'm a wizard. I'm a bald wizard. I've got the beard. I need the flowing locks, but that's not going to happen unless I invest in some of that technology that Elon invested in, because let me tell you, if I'm going to get hair plugs, it's going to be the most extreme hair plugs of all time, because I'm going to need wizard hair. Wizard hair. That's what I'm going for. All right. Silent Siren. What's going on, Silent? Thank you so much for inviting me to, I'm sorry, not inviting me, but sharing my videos and stuff on your Discord. Silent's got a super dope Discord over there, too. And if you ever want to share that, feel free. Feel free to share, as I've said before. I love that you guys want to build communities and stuff. I really enjoy that you guys want to build these communities, and I do actually feel like the way that we're going to kind of overcome what's going on right now is through community and through having a voice magnified by those of the people that have joined up with us. And as I've said before, this is all about community. It's all about you guys. It's all about like creating something that actually has meaning, not just me getting up here to try to make $3 off a live stream. That's the $3 is nice, It's going to buy me 1 avocado soon after all these tariffs. All right. Let's see what we got. We got some videos. We're going to get them. Push the button. I pushed the button and it worked. Buy a lion's mane from Amazon. That's a good call, Tia. I just watched Craven on Netflix the other night. We also watched the new movie with Chris Pratt and the girl from Stranger Things. The one who played 11. What's her name? Millie Brown? Is it Millie Bobby Brown? Or am I just making that up? I think it's Millie Brown. Maybe it's Millie Bobby Brown. But anyways, I fell asleep during that one. And then when my wife finished it, she said the ending was terrible. So I'm okay. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Craven was pretty good, though. It was pretty good. Silent, you're going to share the Discord shortly in the car driving. Okay, cool. Thank you. Yeah, and like I said, feel free. Feel free. Jeremy, what's happening? Trent, what's going on, buddy? It's lifting season, Trent. It's lifting season, okay? Got to get back in shape. I worked out with my kids. My kids go out and lift weights with me in the mornings. My daughter plays sports, and my son is a martial artist. So we get out there, and today was back and abs. We do abs 3 times a week, and we work out about 6 times a week, 5 to 6 times, depending on how easy it is to get my kids up at 5:30 in the morning before they go to school and get them outside and like do some lifting and stuff. So, yeah, feeling a little toit, all right. But we're okay. No injuries yet. No injuries yet. She owns a cosmetics company. Millie Bobby Brown does. I'll tell you this. That's the way to make money. I didn't know that. I mean, not that I'm going to start a makeup company anytime soon. As you guys can tell, this is all natural. All right. This is, there is no bronzer. We've all seen that Mike Johnson is now using bronzer, right? Like, dude, there is no greater evidence that you are in a cult than like starting to look like the dude that's in charge. When you start dressing like him, and they already started doing that, but now you're starting to put on the same face, like you using the bronzer and shit. Like if I used that orange face paint on my face, like I'm gonna need a real like makeup person. I'm gonna need a real makeup person because it's gonna stand out pretty strongly on this ginger skin. I mean, the beard used to be orange. The face could be orange now instead, right? We could go with that. We could do that instead. All right. Well, let's get in there. I didn't know. Oh, does not own a cosmetics company. I'm a liar. I am a liar. I was gonna say though, I was like, doesn't Rihanna have a lot of money now? You know, the umbrella. I used to make fun of that song. Like I was like, it's not even that good of a song. I don't know why people like this song. And now she has like, she's a multi-billionaire from her makeups company. And of course you have Kylie Jenner, who also, you know, may or may not have inherited a lot of money from her family, but who also has a $1 billion makeup company. I had no idea. I don't know what I'm doing on YouTube. It should have been trying to create some mascara for like JD Vance fans. That's actually, you know what? Solid idea. Don't steal this from me. Actually, you can steal it from me because I'll never actually do it. But what if we created a makeup company for Trump supporters? Not for the women, guys. For the guys, all right? Like, fucking some, like, what is it, where the mascara doesn't run? Like, some waterproof mascara for the Trump men, and, like, some orange toner. Like, we could, I don't know why Donald Trump hasn't done this yet. Why has Donald Trump not started a makeup company and a diaper company? He could have done a diaper company and a makeup company. Then he'd actually be a real billionaire. Wait, Seduction says, wait, are you trying to tell me that Trump wears bronzer? I just assumed he was naturally ugly. No, he works at that. He works at it. Okay? Seduction. That takes a lot of time and effort to make yourself look that fucked up. I like that you guys are fighting in the comments about the cosmetic company now. Get them! Let's fight about it. Let's do this. Don't give him any ideas. What's happening, Chris? Bronze on your face, maybe the next blackface, just as offensive. Like, that's what's going to get me gulagged is when I wear, like, orange face paint on the stream. Donald Trump sees that shit, and he's like, you know what? This motherfucker right here, going straight to the gulag. All right, or El Salvador, right? That's where they're going to send us, El Salvador. I wonder what the weather's like in El Salvador, because I'm kind of a hot weather kind of guy, so I hope that it's, like, really warm in El Salvador. I'm not good with cold. If he really wanted to fuck me over, he'd send me to, like, Alaska. That would be... Or Russia also. Probably closer to me getting put on there. Guys, yeah, Trent. You can't possibly be defending Donald Trump's makeup. I mean, it's not even good makeup. Like, come on, dude. Come on, Trent. Come on. Like, you gotta show that you're not part of the cult by agreeing with the shit that is blatantly true. Like, it is blatantly true that JD Vance wears fucking mascara, dog. It is blatantly true that Donald Trump like sticks his face in a fucking like tub of orange paint before he comes on whatever he's gonna do nowadays, you know. And it's like mixing with his liver spots now, and it's like turning his face brown. He's looking weathered. Let me derail your stream this early. We're not derailed yet. We're just starting. He does look like an old shoe. It's not blending anymore. The liver spots and the orange paint are clearly making him look like he's wearing a mud mask nowadays. Or blackface. All right, let's get into it. First video we're going to start with today. It's a question. It's the question that everybody is asking. And I enjoy the Channel 5 videos. Some of them probably that I shouldn't. But I definitely do enjoy me some Channel 5 news. And this is a video from Channel 5 News about how Elon Musk got red-pilled. Now, I'm going to click this button. Hold on. Before we push the wrong button. Yeah, I knew it. We're on the wrong audio channel. There we go. Look at that. I'm a fucking professional, guys. All right. Channel 5 News, how Elon Musk was red-pilled. Let's hear it.
All right, let's take a moment to talk about Elon Musk's radicalization that's being referenced in that interview, because I too have caught wind of the 10-year-old 4chan memes being posted by Elon on X and thought to myself, how the heck did that happen? Back in the day during the Obama era, I can remember when Elon Musk was a full-blown save the earth liberal and frequently secured massive government contracts from the Democrats, which he used to build eco-friendly cars and rockets.
I have a Tesla.
Have I told you guys my my theory on this? Because if you look at the Obama administration days, he really had like an open door policy for tech billionaires, all the tech people. I don't know if Musk was a billionaire back then or if Zuckerberg was, but he had like an open door policy for all of these tech people to come through the door, and really kind of actually started this off. You know, I've said this before. I think Obama was a really good president, but he definitely did some things that I do not agree with, that I disliked. One of them was, you know, reaching out to corporate interests, but also how much time he spent with these tech people. And it seems as though after Obama, they did try to kind of, you know, get in with Biden as well. And for whatever reason, I think that, I think this is the reason, actually. Biden seems very anti-AI, right? Very concerned, and for the correct reasons. But he seemed like he was very against AI and against, kind of all, obviously he wasn't big on the social media thing. He wasn't big on the misinformation, disinformation that was being spread. But obviously he like pushed these guys off a bit, right? So it seems as though during the Democratic run for presidency a year ago, Biden in no way wanted these guys to be a part of it, right? And now it seems as though they've made their way into Donald Trump's graces, specifically because he's the most open door. Like, Donald Trump, at the end of the day, is, if you have money, he is the easiest person to manipulate, hands down. Like, all you gotta do is stuff some dollar bills in Donald Trump's pockets, and he will let you do anything. And anybody that disagrees with me with that, like, just take a look at what's going on right now. Elon Musk has absolutely no expertise doing what he's doing. He doesn't have any expertise doing what he usually does, but he definitely has no expertise doing what he's doing right now. And it's just like, he stuffed enough dollar bills in Donald Trump's pockets that now he can do whatever he wants. He can take your Social Security information, he can cut off the check to your grandma, whatever you want, whatever he wants. So, I mean, that's my theory on this, is that all of these techno oligarchs had found a spot with Obama that when Biden took office disappeared. And I think even with the Donald Trump era, Donald Trump wasn't, he wasn't EV. Now they are. Really weird. Really weird. But now they are. But he didn't have a lot of love for all these people. Obviously, he hated the social media thing because he kind of felt like he was constantly getting disparaged. He hates anybody that talks out against him. Obviously, we've seen what happens with Trump in the media constantly. He's treated social media the same way, right? They're like, they hid the laptop. The Hunter Biden, you notice there's still no Hunter Biden laptop, even though they have the keys to the castle. There's still no Hunter Biden laptop. That's just like the Epstein list and everything else, these guys. They just say shit, just like McCarthy did, and then they don't have any evidence for it. But anyways, during that time, it seemed as though he also was very anti. So there's a pretty good gap of about a decade there between Obama and where we are now. And I think that pretty much explains why all of these people went from who they were to where they are now, because obviously all of these guys want to be in charge of what happens moving forward with AI and everything else as far as the semiconductor production and all that stuff goes.
Yeah.
Okay, I love it. I love it.
He was even tweeting in
Lead
support
build.
of trans rights just a few years ago
What
and
up, Golf?
vocally criticizing Trump.
He's not the right guy. He doesn't seem to have the sort of character that reflects well in the United States.
But like so many
Yeah, that's crazy. That's such a crazy, like, the number of people that spoke really poorly about Donald Trump and then now they're in his good graces. It just shows that every relationship with Donald Trump is transactional, right?
tweeting in support of trans rights just a few years ago and vocally criticizing Trump.
That's right
He's
here.
not the right guy. He doesn't seem to have the sort of character that reflects well in the United States.
But like
Yeah, and that's still true. Like, none of that has changed. Elon has changed.
so many Americans, both left and right, 2020 broke him. Within 5 years of voting for Brandon, Elon would be tweeting things like pronouns suck and I love Donald Trump as much as a straight man can love another man. So how did that happen? The way I see it, it all goes back to the first stage of the COVID pandemic, which gave birth to the anti-lockdown Freedom March movement, which Elon was quite fond of.
As they like walk around on the streets, the fucking the fact that these people thought that that was encroaching on their freedoms is legit, like the best evidence of the entitlement that happens here in America. These people have no fucking idea what it's like to live in a country that actually has taken away people's freedoms. It's both hilarious and really fucking sad.
Elon's first personal freedom outburst came on April 28, 2020, shortly after the Trump administration and Democratic government officials in California ordered the shutdown of American Tesla factories to stop the spread of COVID-19.
Tesla, which employs roughly 10
Ah, yes, here we go. The money getting taken away. There we go. Now we're on to something.
1,000 people at its Fremont plant was initially forced to shut down.
Immediately, Elon tweeted in all caps, "Free America," became critical of
It just fucking cracks me up. Free America. Like all the people that talked about the mass mandates and the COVID passports and all that shit that never existed. Never actually existed. Like I said, literally fucking reading about that time once again right now. It's such a like weird thing that people have where they believe something happened in a certain way, they get it stuck in their brain, they repeat it enough, and then the people around them repeat it enough, and they're like, man, if you remember the COVID days, we couldn't go anywhere, weren't allowed to do anything. It's like specifically in red states. Like red states as a whole didn't lock down like at all. Like, I mean, like Florida did for like half a second.
lockdowns and began calling the government actions of Trump and Newsom fascist.
Musk telling investors the orders hinder people's freedom.
This is fascist. Give people back their goddamn freedom.
Though initially pro-lockdown,
We've made the decision to further toughen the guidelines and blunt the infection now.
Trump quickly
God, that's the part I'm in right now, is the part where Trump was actually calling for the mask mandates and the lockdowns. It's fucking surreal that people do not remember this shit.
quickly capitalized on the growing unrest amongst freedom-hungry conservatives and staunchly positioned himself
Proud to be
against the CDC
coronavirus
and blue
free.
state governors
What
in an
the
obvious
fuck?
effort to court more votes for the upcoming election.
The Chinese virus.
You know they won't.
You know, one of my favorite arguments when people say, why can't he call it the Chinese virus? Is people say, well, what about the Spanish flu? How many people know that the Spanish flu did not originate in Spain? That the reason it's called the Spanish flu is because during the war, Spanish flu broke out. And so people didn't want to let their adversaries know that they were being decimated, as the Spanish flu was insane, right? So most countries weren't reporting on any of their Spanish flu numbers as to not give any information to their adversaries. The only country, well, not the only country, but the one country that was neutral and was reporting its numbers was Spain. Therefore, that's why they call it the Spanish flu. It didn't originate in Spain. Like, this is what I'm saying. You know what I hate about politics? It's just so many people make such wild-ass statements with absolutely no background knowledge on anything they believe. Anything. They're just like, I heard somebody else say this shit, and so it must be true.
Won't be any more COVID on November 4th. It'll be gone.
Still, throughout that election cycle, Elon stayed loyal to the Democrats and voted for Biden in 2020.
Biden won. Yes, I believe he won.
And you voted for him.
I did.
But things really heated up between Biden and Elon in 2021 after Biden held an electric vehicle summit and took the stage with the CEOs of both Ford and General Motors.
Yep,
Didn't invite Tesla.
Praising them as the leaders of electric vehicles, despite the fact that at that point, Tesla had made 115,000 EVs in America, and General Motors had only made 26.
He never mentions Tesla, and that's got to be getting under Elon's skin.
You know, like Biden held this.
Damn. Good God. And you've got to think about it in this manner. Joe Biden kind of comes from that blue collar idea of, like, you know, things like Ford, the car manufacturers, the unions, all that stuff, super important to him. Obviously, the only president that's ever walked a actual, like, picket line, like a full-on picket line, an active picket line, right? To be that fucking thin-skinned, dog. To be so thin-skinned. Also, bro, what the fuck is that bandana? Somebody, what the fuck is going on with that bandana? Look at Elon Musk. What is that fashion? This man needs more women in his life. God damn it. But to be that thin-skinned, that he didn't mention your car company, which at that time, if I remember right, was doing perfectly fucking fine. It didn't need to be mentioned. Instead, he wanted to big up other American corporations. And Elon Musk got big sad off that shit. Jesus Christ.
This EV summit. Didn't mention Tesla once and praised
what is up with that bandana?
The EV revolution.
Biden never explicitly stated why Elon and Tesla were left out of the summit, but it likely wasn't about the mean tweets from the year before. Also invited to the summit and on stage was the UAW, or the United Auto Workers Union, the largest car manufacturer union in America, who work every single day to make sure that auto workers get fair pensions and wages.
They often did this through extreme hardship and sacrifice, sometimes at the expense of spilled blood.
Joe Biden.
Yeah, if you work for a union and you voted for Trump, you're as dumb as the people that voted for him that work for the IRS. If you voted for Donald Trump and you're a pro-union person, you are easily as dumb as the IRS people that also voted for Donald Trump.
Biden is notably pro-union.
I'm proud to be the first president to walk a picket line.
And received large campaign donations from the Auto Workers Union, who'd recently tried and failed to unionize Tesla workers.
The United Auto Workers Union, or UAW, alleged that Tesla fired a worker for attempting to form a union.
Because of the company's immediate termination policy, Tesla is the only major auto manufacturer in the US not represented by a single union, and their workers are paid significantly less than other rival car manufacturers, despite having reported unsafe workplace conditions on a consistent basis for the past 4 years.
Don't worry, guys. He's gonna really make the government better with his anti-union, anti-worker. Like, why is this surprising to anybody? Why is anybody surprised that what Elon Musk is doing in the government, like, doesn't give two shits about regular people? How is anybody convinced at this point that Elon Musk wants people to do well? He has never, even when he was fucking liberal, did not take care of his fucking workers, did not take care of regular people. The only person that Elon Musk cares about is Elon Musk. It's fucking insane that people defend this right now. Holy
Tesla factory
shit.
workers in California are working so hard they're passing out on the production line.
Tesla employees say they were worked to exhaustion.
Former Tesla workers sue the company.
Approximately 50 workers were not adequately protected from excessive heat.
Inspectors found workers were exposed to hexavalent chromium.
He's always had a record of abusing workers. There are labor claims against him at the factory in Milpitas for excessive heat and putting workers into dangerous conditions.
Yet without the ability...
You know what this reminds me of? You guys know about, was it the plutonium girls or whatever it was? It was, they used to paint watch faces with, I think it's uranium, and don't quote me on that. It's been a long time since I read about this story. But they used to paint the watch faces, and when they'd paint the watch faces, they'd do it with a paintbrush, a little tiny paintbrush, and they'd stick it in their mouth, and then they'd dip it in the uranium. And all these girls, their jaws deteriorated. They got like gnarly fucking cancers and stuff from it. Here, let's see if we can pull that up real quick. My daughter says I use too many words. Radium girls. The radium girls. The radium girls were female factory workers who contracted radiation poison. God, I can't read right now. The radium girls were female factory workers who contracted radiation poisoning from painting radium dials, watch dials, and hands with self-luminous paint. The incidents occurred at 3 factories in the United States, one in Orange, New Jersey, beginning around 1917, one in Ottawa, Illinois, beginning in the early 1920s, and one in Waterbury, Connecticut, also in the 1920s. Here, let's see if we can get a picture of this. Yeah, these girls would paint these watch faces. I wonder if I can find... I doubt there is any pictures of this. Yeah, there it is. Look at that. Holy Jesus. Oh my God. Look at that. That is so crazy. That is so insane. But that's what it reminds me of. Because it was like, they didn't care at all what happened to those women. They knew that something would probably be wrong with doing what they were doing. They did not care anything at all about these women. And this is the type of stuff that when I say, like, you know, I don't want to concentrate on Trump's, you know, racism. I don't want to concentrate on Trump's infidelity. I don't want to concentrate on Trump's, you know, what he said about his daughter, all of that shit, because there's like much more important things to be concerned about. Like, does it make him a shitty human being? Of course it does. Does it make him despicable? Of course it does. But the more important things that need to be concentrated on, should be pointed out, is like how these types of things can actually lead to making people's lives worse. You know, their policies, you know, the things that they believe, like you should run a company in a certain way, that people's lives as workers don't matter, that if, you know, you're not going to do what they want you to do as far as, you know, putting the goddamn radium in your mouth, then you can get fired and no one cares. Like, that's what I think people should be much more concerned about than all the personal shit that goes on with Donald Trump. There's plenty to make fun of him about, mock him about his like personal life and his bullshit. But the real actual thing that people should be concerned about is that these people have a past that can potentially lead to a future for all of us that involves sticking fucking radium in your mouth and losing your job.
To unionize and demand fair wages and conditions, these complaints have mostly died in the courts or fallen on deaf ears at Tesla corporate. Elon has said that his anti-union stance isn't about making more money for himself, but actually because unions kind of kill the vibe.
And I think the unions naturally try to create negativity in a company and create a sort of lords and peasants situation.
What? Did he say it tries to create a lords and peasants situation? Holy shit, dude. How could you possibly hear, as a union worker, hear that dude say that and be like, this guy's based. He's intelligent. This guy should be fucking cutting the government. The union, literally, it takes that away. Like, anybody that's worked in a union that understands how a union works, like, the unions aren't always the best, 100%. Sometimes the unions work too closely with these corporations, and they get bad contracts because they also take bribes and take money and stuff. But the knowledge that you will get benefits, the knowledge that you have somebody that will, sue a corporation if, the environment is unhealthy, like the Radium Girls, I bet they wish they had a union. The fact that after a certain amount of hours, you are due a raise, that, if you work from one department to the next department, that you deserve to be paid what the people that work in that department get paid. The fact that your overtime hours are protected as far as making sure that you're getting paid correctly. Like, lords and peasants, brother? Who the fuck hears this stuff and is like, man, this guy's really, really smart. 5-alarm fire. Thank you for the $10. Hi, AG. This is for showing up late to the stream. Glad to be here with you all again. You can, dude, show up anytime you want, my friend. What's up, Starman? Thank you for the $10. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. God damn it. This is so fucking, it's infuriating to watch, because it just like 100% tells you that people either don't give a fuck about other people and whether or not it affects other people as long as it doesn't affect them, or they're just stupid. They hear him say it and they're like, but he sends rockets into space.
Situation.
Anyways, after being snubbed
What's
at
up,
the summit,
Manny?
Elon was pissed.
So you were pissed.
And around this exact time, 2 more things happened in Elon's
hydrated,
personal
guys.
life that made things even worse. First, he separated with his then partner, Grimes, a visually liberal lady with whom he has multiple children.
Elon Musk and Grimes have publicly announced their separation.
And simultaneously, one of his kids came out as transgender, changed their name, and denounced their dad.
Vivian cut ties with Elon in 2022 after filing a petition to change her name due to her gender identity and her severed relationship with her father.
So my son Xavier is dead. Killed by the woke mind virus.
I no longer live with
Oh
or
my
wish to be
God.
related to my biological father in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what that would be like.
If we were to look at Elon...
I think Jordan Peterson can't imagine what that'd be like. I mean, he can't because, his kid's still around, but you would imagine that a guy as asshole-ish as Jordan Peterson could 100% understand what that would be like, because, well, maybe he can't. Maybe that's the problem. It's a blind spot, right?
Elon's conservative radicalization through the unmet core needs theory that I laid out in our recently premiered documentary, Dear Kelly, it's safe to say that through the collapse of his family and government backing, he lost his security. Through the loss of his status as the Democrat-backed tech darling, his significance. And through the estrangement of his then-girlfriend and child, connection. It was after this that Elon entered a traumatic fight-or-flight state in 2021. And he chose to fight, which allowed...
This is actually this is very well done by Andrew here, because he's hitting on the same reasons that a lot of the young men voted for Donald Trump as well and went over that. Like, you make mistakes, you don't want to be held accountable for those mistakes, you blame others for your issues, you take on the full victimhood mentality of MAGA, because you know that there's an open door policy for anybody that wants to claim any type of victimhood over in MAGA. Like, they accept everybody, they just close the door behind you. The idea that instead of taking accountability for the fact that he was a poor father and, could have kept his relationship with his trans daughter, even today, that's the fucking crazy thing is, he could correct his relationship with his daughter today. He could be like, hey, I fucked up. And, it's not that easy. You can't just say it and it's over. But you could work really hard to get back within the good graces of your child. And I know he's got fucking 15 kids now, but I have 2. And if either one of them really got to a point where they hated me for any reason, there's nothing I wouldn't do to try to get back within their good graces. I mean, you have a responsibility as a parent to stay involved in in your children's lives. And that's insane that he'd be so willing to just Fucking toss his own kid to the
conservatives
side
and
like that.
conservative media channels to gradually groom him over the course of 4 years into what he is today, which is a prideful person with a chip on his shoulder, hopelessly stuck in the third stage of the grief process, angry and hell-bent on revenge. Elon's most significant revenge acquisition was his purchase of Twitter in 2022.
The world's richest guy is set to buy one of the world's most influential social media companies.
Elon Musk carried a kitchen sink into Twitter HQ this week, tweeting,
so
"Let
awkward."
that sink in."
Quickly after buying Twitter and renaming it X, he used his own account to elevate the narratives of conservative reactionaries who were delighted to have the richest man in the world not only buying but spreading the same bullshit they've been pushing for 4 years. Still, for all of 2023 and most of 2024, Elon was red-pilled but not fully a Trump guy. He actually backed Florida Governor Ron DeSantis for president.
Elon Musk tipping his hat toward Florida Governor Ron DeSantis to be the next president.
Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. But no, I was going to say it seems strange, but it doesn't, right? Because it doesn't really matter what the face is. He didn't care if it was Trump. He didn't. In fact, I bet you he was happy that it ended up being Trump. He probably looked at somebody like DeSantis, and especially like DeSantis's LGBT crusade against the LGBT people. He probably looked at that as like his best chance of getting in and killing the woke mind virus. But he probably is pretty fucking happy now that DeSantis didn't win, because Trump is a much more malleable person. Like, for everything, all the shit I talk about Mom DeSantis, he does like believe the shit that he believes, and he does think that, you know, he's doing things the way that he should do them. You know, he thinks he's a morally good human being. Like, Trump obviously has no morals, does not give a fuck, and is willing to take whatever amount of money, you know, you're willing to give him to, I mean, just buy his meme coin, bro. Buy his meme coin. But that's pretty interesting. And also, I think, obviously, Trump didn't actually like Elon for a while there. Elon had to spend $270 million to get Trump to like him. That's pretty crazy. Most people can get Trump to like them with like 5 million. Like, Elon had to full on go a full 270. And I think it was Trent earlier said J.D. Vance also talked shit about him. And we all know that. J.D. Vance talked mad shit about Donald Trump. I wonder how much money Peter Thiel gave Donald Trump to get J.D. Vance into the vice presidency. I wonder if Thiel made a large donation in J.D. Vance's name to get him into that vice presidency.
President of the United States.
But when it turned out that DeSantis wouldn't really be the right guy, he was all Trump. Kind of. It wasn't until the Butler, Pennsylvania incident, when someone tried to kill Donald Trump, that Elon said, "I want to fight beside him too." And he kicked off his endorsement with a $120 million donation to the Trump campaign.
Elon Musk is now Trump's second biggest financial backer.
To be fair, the investment was two-sided. After Election Day, Tesla's stock shot up over 80%, though after missing European sales targets and the growth of nationwide boycotts in the US, it started to crash back down to earth, which brings us to the boycott being covered today in this video. Apparently, Elon haters in Palo Alto and also in Glendale believe they can reverse Tesla's stock growth by staging physical boycotts of IRL Tesla showrooms, which they hope will create enough of a media spectacle to at least cause potential buyers to think twice before getting a Tesla.
So AOC and Bernie Sanders.
We got to talk to Andrew Callahan about how he's ending his videos. that was rather abrupt, Andrew. Andrew's got bake. How are we doing that? Somebody get a hold of Andrew Callahan and let him know that I am available for a small fee. I can definitely help him get an ending on his show. Jesus Christ. Oh, all right. Well, that was very interesting, and I do think, like, for sure it's true. Here, let's go back to Big Me. Let's talk to people for a second. That's actually, like, this is the type of stuff I like, right? Because I've told you guys before, like, I get to a point where I'm very much exhausted with reductionism. And, you know, even at the end of the Soviet Union, they used hypernormalization and reductionism to try to control their populace. And the hypernormalization part we see constantly in what's going on with MAGA now. And we see all of these people that believe these kind of insane things, like I said, about Elon or about Donald Trump, and they really don't spend more than a couple seconds thinking about it as long as it confirms their bias, and then they just move on. It's just, it must be true. No need to actually like look into it. No need to figure out whether or not it's correct or not. But the other side of it, the reductionism, unfortunately seems to be across the board. Because even though I agree with people about why these people are bad human beings, I oftentimes want to be able to look more into what exactly about them and the way that they do things is bad for the country, right? Like, there's something to the three short grunts formula, for sure. I understand that. I get that. If the only way to disseminate this information and get people on board with it is to reduce it, I understand what people are doing. But for me, that just doesn't work for me. I don't do the three short grunts thing. I'm not taken in by, well, this guy's shitty because he made a bad joke, or this guy's shitty because of some of the things he did in his life. Like, that tells me the person's a bad person, for sure. But it doesn't tell me why I should be upset with the way that they do things. And when we look at something like Elon becoming a red pill, I think, it's pretty reductive to just say it's just for money. First of all, I don't think it is just for money. I think that Elon Musk has plenty of money and assets. I think it's for power and authority. I think that the one thing that Elon Musk, or the two things that Elon Musk does not possess, is he doesn't possess an ability to become the United States president. Therefore, he doesn't have the ability to manipulate the government, which he got both of those things through Trump by spending that money. But, and now I lost my thought. Oh, $10. Thank you, 5 Alarm Fire. Don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but I had to do a lot in the military, and Trump's ear looked a lot like a blood capsule. Strange his ear miraculously healed 100% in a few days. Just my opinion. Once again, it is very strange that it went away as fast as it did. And I'm the same way, as I've said before. So if you say to me something like that, like, I want to look into it. I don't want to reduce it down to it must be fake, right? Instead, I want to figure out how it could be fake and what would come from that if it was. And obviously, we could probably answer those two questions pretty quickly. But I hear what you're saying. And oftentimes when I talk about Curtis Yarvin and stuff, I kind of take the same mentality where, I'm like, you got to be very careful. Where I'm like, dude, when you look at McCarthy, Roy Cohn, Donald Trump, Roy Cohn, Roger Stone, Peter Thiel, J.D. Vance, when you start connecting all these dots, you have to be really careful, because you're like, now I start to feel like I'm a conspiracy theorist, right? Because I'm making all these connections. Now, that doesn't mean that it's not true. Just like what you just said, that doesn't mean that it's not true. There has been multiple instances in our history of either the government or people with wealth and status using these, shock and awe campaigns or these false flag things to create situations that benefit them. Like, I've always told the conspiracy theorists that when they come in and they're, oh, you don't know. What about Operation Paperclip? What about Operation Mockingbird? And I'm like, yeah, like, I agree. Those things are true. And they should be, they should carry a certain amount of weight when we're deciding whether or not something is true or not. But because something happened before doesn't mean that it did happen. So 100%, I hear what you're saying there. And thank you for the $10. I really appreciate that. I very, very much appreciate that $10. Yeah, and it comes down to, I want facts. I want facts. And I totally got off track of what I was saying about Elon Musk there. Anyways, what I was trying to get to about the Elon thing was, I like what Andrew just did right there. Because oftentimes there is an explanation. Now, it doesn't mean that it's a reason. It doesn't mean that it's like Donald Trump or Elon Musk should be doing what they're doing today. But understanding what created them and why they became what they became also helps us understand why the people that follow them are doing it as well. And like I said, one of the biggest parts of all of this that I think needs to be focused more on, specifically moving forward into 2028, is the young man factor. The young men in our society that are potentially feeling some of these things, rightfully or not, about society, and how you can combat that. And I've watched a lot of videos about how young men get pulled into the alt-right pipeline. I've talked to many people that have discussed things about like their own personal relationships with their kids, and how their kids have friends that like that stuff. And it really, to me, it's very important to me that we figure out how to stop this moving forward, because I don't think that we can heal as a society just by getting Donald Trump and JD Vance out of office. That's not going to heal society. That's just like, that's a quick fix to our current situation. If we want to like move forward and become like a healthier nation, and like, you know, get back in the good graces of Canada and, you know, the UK and the people that have supported us forever, then it's going to take a healing from within the United States of America. And that means that we're going to need to look with more intensity into some of these subjects and actually try to figure out how to fix them, and not just say, well, it's because he's an asshole, right? Starman, thank you for the $2 from the Dark Brandon channel. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Starman. I love Dark Brandon. A lot of us love the Dark Brandon channel. We all love the Dark Brandon channel. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. What's up, Kelly? What's going on? Anyways, like I said, I know that that's kind of a boring way to go about this, but like I said before, I'm not trying to make a ton of money off of this channel. I am trying to legit make a difference, and I do want people to take something from this show other than, you know, we have a good time, we laugh, we mock, we make fun, we have a good time. I want you guys to take that from this. Do not let these motherfuckers steal your joy, okay? Still live your life, still be fucking joyful, still find things that make you happy and engage in them, for sure. But also, I want you guys also to take from this channel that when we look at problems, we should be asking ourselves multiple questions. If we make a mistake or somebody else makes a mistake, we want to ask ourselves why. We want to ask ourselves how. You know, like there's should be 2 to 3 questions about anything that you believe to solidify and build a foundation as to why you believe those things. That's why I like using philosophy as my foundation for my belief systems. As you guys have heard me talk about before, I also use the books The Happiness Hypothesis by Jonathan Haidt and The Social Leap by William von Hippel. And that's like the basis of my morality argument. My argument that morality doesn't come from religion, morality comes from evolution and social environments, and the need for, in hunter-gatherer groups, the need for, you know, social status. Everything should have a basis. It shouldn't just be, I believe it because X. It should be because you have X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D to build the foundation, and that's why you came to the end of the equation, the solution to that equation. All right, let's laugh a little bit. What up, LB? What's going on, LB? All right, here. Let's make sure. I almost played the video again without pushing the button. I'm getting better. I am getting better. Don't forget, stay hydrated, guys. Stay hydrated. It's Saturday. I hope you guys are having some adult beverages, enjoying yourselves, enjoying this Saturday. We don't know how many Saturdays we have left. Fucking, we gotta do our thing. Conclusion. Thank you, Chris. Holy shit. Chris, you're in my head. You know what I was trying to say. All right. This video is Adam Mockler. Watch Elon panic and censor everyone. I don't even know what this video is about, to be honest with you, but I wanted to show you guys the fucking video of Elon Musk flying the forks around and the girl, like, doing this weird thing next to him while he did this. And then I saw Adam Mockler had this video with it in it, and I was like, we're going to watch this. We're going to watch this.
what the hell is this dude doing? Elon Musk and other Republicans just got caught lying on Twitter. Check this out.
You want some clear as day proof that a Republican activist just got caught lying online?
I do.
Here's a tweet by Republican activist Scott Pressler, who goes by The Persistence. He wrote, "Caught on camera, a Susan Crawford supporter was caught on a Ring doorbell, smoking, cursing, and looking for a deceased voter in Wisconsin. She said, 'Is she voting for the nice lady or the devil? Is this really the best Democrats have to offer? I hope this goes viral.'"
Remember, he said, is this really the best Democrats have to offer?
Well, I hope this goes viral too, because what you didn't take into account is that this wasn't a Democratic door knocker, it was a Republican door knocker. And the way you know that is by looking at the papers that she was holding. This right here is a screenshot of the materials that she was handing out. Look familiar? And if you look here, this is a clearer version of exactly the same document. It is a pro-Trump flyer. If you look at the back, which you can see here in the video, well, a closer iteration of this shows clear as day that this is anti-Susan Crawford material.
Wow, they're so bad, but also, you know what? It doesn't matter. Like, you can show this to a Trump supporter over and over again. They'll be like, so what? Democrats do that. Like, whataboutism is their main defense at all time.
So either this Democratic door knocker was handing out anti-Susan Crawford material, or Scott Pressler and Republicans just got caught lying yet again.
Spoiler alert, it's the latter. Scott Pressler and other Republicans got caught lying yet again. And remember, this canvasser was paid for by Elon Musk's PAC. But sometimes it feels like the only way Republicans can consolidate power is by lying to the American people. And as Elon Musk continues to spiral out on his own platform, spread more lies on his own platform, he only gains more power as Republican politicians run defense for him. I want to break down what Elon Musk has been up to, because he just began censoring opposition accounts on his own platform. Again, leveraging the platform that he owns to achieve his own political...
Dude, people need to just get off X. I know that, like, there's this, like, concern among Democrats that, like, you're ceding this ground, this platform to Republicans. But I don't know. Maybe it's quantifiable. Maybe they can do a study on it. And maybe people are making a difference by fighting against the disinformation on X. But in my opinion, when they talk about like flooding the zone, it seems like they have flooded that zone. I don't think that that zone exists anymore. It is nothing but misinformation and disinformation. My opinion is like, I mean, I guess I could be wrong, because like right away, actually, I think of an example, that woman's video that was just on. If somebody isn't debunking that video, then people that potentially could be, you know, swayed by actual evidence might see that was, you know, they would think what these people are telling them is true. And that, I guess I'm probably wrong, but I don't know. I just think that like we're just giving money to Elon Musk and continuing to keep that social media platform afloat by arguing and fighting with these people on it.
Political ambitions of turning the world into this far-right, populist, globalist. I don't even know what his ultimate vision is, but really quickly, read this article. It says Elon Musk goes on transphobic rant the same day his estranged daughter speaks out. I swear to God, Elon Musk's...
Yeah, that's not going to help with your relationship with your daughter, dog. Just, I'm not a therapist. I'm not a family therapist. I feel like it's kind of common sense that going on transgender rants, transphobic rants, with a transgender daughter, it seems like that's probably not the move.
His average day is waking up, tweeting, doing some ketamine, tweeting, getting in beefs with his estranged daughter, banning people on Twitter, glazing Donald Trump, saying he would love to just cuddle with him, tweet more ketamine. Is that all this guy does? Musk's daughter, Vivian Wilson, who is trans, called him out in a teen...
Hold on, I don't know anything about ketamine. How many times can you do ketamine a day? This definitely shouldn't be in how many times should I poop? How many times should I pee? How many times is JFK shot? How many times is 50 Cent shot? How many times has Goku died? I like the how many times question that just popped up. Can you... This shouldn't be in my fucking... my search history, but it is now. Okay, hold on. On the safety of repeated ketamine infusions. God, I suck at reading today. Numerous small clinical studies have shown that a single low dose of ketamine infusion can rapidly alleviate depressive symptoms and thoughts of suicidality in patients with TRD, and these effects can last for about 1 week. So it sounds like you should only like do it like once a week, like one small dose a week. Let's see. I need a more reductive. Yes, I am using a fucking ad blocker. Thank you. In clinical trials, ketamine infusions have been given as a single dose once or in multi-dose therapy as infusions once, twice, or 3 times weekly for 2 weeks during the acute treatment phase. Sometimes infusions have been continued once or twice weekly during the continuation phase for a total of 4 to 6 weeks. So you're not like really supposed to just stay on the ketamine. It's supposed to be like just used a couple times. Jesus Christ. Dude's just a drug addict now, isn't he? Like, is that what's going on? Dude is just like, he's falling down the K-hole and he's not coming back, huh?
Teen Vogue interview the same day. Elon Musk went on a transphobic rant on Thursday, baselessly claiming, quote, hormone injections cause extreme emotional volatility. Remember, there's no proof of that whatsoever. Just hours after his estranged trans...
You guys think he does it like enema style? Isn't that what boofing is? Isn't boofing the K-pile? Isn't that taking it enema style? I don't know these words. I just know of them.
Baselessly claiming, quote, hormone injections cause extreme emotional volatility. Remember, there's no proof of that whatsoever. Just hours after his estranged transgender daughter, Vivian Wilson, called him a, quote, pathetic man-child. Vivian called him a lot worse than that. She was roasting her own father. And then Elon Musk, of course, takes it to Twitter, where he can boost his own crazy transphobic conspiracy theories. He said, quote, what are the statistics on trans violence? Elon Musk wrote on X a few hours after Vivian.
Yeah, and this is one of my problems with statistics. I hate when people do this. When they use like a really small population, so therefore it's a high percentage, right? And that's why it should be like almost always per capita. That's why when you talk about immigrants, one of the only studies that we have about immigrants and criminality comes from Texas, because they actually they actually monitor this, right? And so we've looked at those studies and seen that per capita immigrants commit crimes at about half the rate of American citizens, which of course makes sense, because most of these people don't want to commit crimes because they don't want to be deported. So, and obviously also a lot of them are just coming here to have good lives and don't want to commit crimes or get in trouble. They just want to work and send some money back home. But the same thing is happening here. He's using a graph. I don't know if he's going to show the graph in a minute, but I saw the graph where you're attributing a percentage to an extremely small group of people. So if you have 2 out of 10 people in a trans community that commit crimes, these are not real statistics, I'm making them up. If you have 2 out of 10 people in a trans community that commit crimes, then it's 20%. Now, if you have 20 out of 1,000, then now you're like 2%, I think. Did I do that right? Yeah, I think that's 2%. So that's why I really, really dislike the way that people use statistics, and specifically how they use percentages rather than actual raw numbers. That's what fucking drives me nuts.
Vivian made those comments in response to somebody writing that 3 out of 4 people who have been arrested for vandalizing Teslas are, quote, trans or non-binary. Quote, the probability of a trans person being violent appears to be vastly higher than non-trans, said Elon Musk incredibly falsely. There is no evidence to suggest people taking hormone injections are subject to extreme emotional volatility, but Elon Musk shared a graphic saying, quote, wow, trans violence is extremely far above normal levels, just spreading pure disinformation. What did I say? It feels like Republicans have to lie to consolidate power. Again, there is no evidence of this. A 2022 Stanford study found that trans people who start gender-affirming hormone treatment have better mental health than people who wait until adulthood. And a review conducted by researchers in Amsterdam found that gender-affirming hormone therapy reduces depression and psychological distress in trans people. That's why it's used as medicine. That's why it's used as a prescription to a problem that somebody might have with gender dysphoria. But that doesn't stop Elon Musk from spreading a massive amount of lies. At the same time, this dude is suspending opposition accounts in Turkey and randomly playing with his silverware at Trump galas. I mean, I don't know what... We'll get to this in 1 second.
No. Play the video, Adam. Play the video. Just take one look at that. Look at the girl. Damn it, Adam. Play the video. The video is fucking high-key amazing, okay? High-key, all right? Because not only him sitting there playing with the fork, but the fucking idiot chick. I don't know who she is. I'm sorry, lady, if you're a nice lady. I don't know who you are. You're probably not, though. You're sitting at a table with Elon Musk. So I feel like I'm pretty good with fucking saying this. She's like just like staring at him like he's a fucking genius. Like, man, you put those forks together and made a fucking like a satellite. That's pretty dope.
And I just want to point out the danger of Elon Musk leveraging his platform to ban opposition accounts amid civil unrest. He's banning accounts, suspending accounts, spreading information about the widespread demonstrations while they're happening. And you know, the first time I really remember Elon Musk breaching his main promise when he bought X was to turn it into a free speech beacon, a town square where anybody can come and say anything. And
So
of course, we all
lie.
knew that was BS. But the first time I remember him really breaking that was when he banned that Elon Jet account, which was a jet that tracked Elon Musk's publicly available jet data. So every time Elon Musk travels in his private jet, it goes out into the internet. It's out there. What he's doing today is out there. And some dude coded a Twitter account that would track and would pull the information and tweet it out. Elon Musk called it doxing and he had it suspended. And then when journalists from the New York Times, from the Washington Post, from CNN and other stations began reporting on that suspension, they were also banned in a clear act of retaliation. We also saw Ken Klippenstein get banned when he published the J.D. Vance dossier or those J.D. Vance leaks from Iran. Elon Musk is incredibly willing to manipulate content moderation, to boost content or suppress content if it protects himself and his political allies from scrutiny. And that's the main point that I want to make. This should scare everybody. Conservatives claim that they're for free speech, but when it benefits their side, when the suppression of speech benefits their side, they are completely blinded to it. But let's continue reading this.
But they can do the mental gymnastics necessary to like never actually admit that they're infringing upon free speech rights. And then they always have their trump card that they use almost any time that you do get them stuck in any kind of like logical fallacy, right? They just go, well, what about what the Democrats do? What about? Like their whataboutism? Or they literally just look at you and go, yeah, so what? We don't care. You guys, don't deserve free speech. Like, I mean, and that's what, happened during the Red Scare. Was it got to a point where people could say, well, sure, what I'm doing is wrong, but it's in the right way. I'm doing it for the right reasons. So even though I might be doing something wrong, it really doesn't matter because the outcome that I'm looking for is better for America. So taking away your free speech in the end is actually better for America. And that's, I mean, like I said, you're either going to get whataboutism or you're going to just get them looking you dead off in the face and being like, yeah, we're taking your free speech. We don't care. $5. Thanks a lot. 5 alarm fire. X only allows freedom of speech if you're not left-leaning whatsoever. Yep. And like I said, the thing about it is like you can point out, you can bring evidence, you can bring facts, you can show people like how actually he's done these things. You can prove that, he didn't shadow ban, but he limited Bill Burr's account after Bill Burr made fun of him. You can show him like the Klippenstein stuff. You can show multitudes of situations where he inhibited people's free speech. and at no point will they care. They don't give two shits about it. Like, and it's, I don't get it, because even if I like somebody, if they do something that's fucking shitty, I can't deal with it. I'm like, I guess I don't like that person anymore. I've said this before. Conor McGregor was one of my favorite fighters for a long time. Love Conor McGregor. Thought he had a great story coming from, being, he was a plumber, and then he fought, and he said he'd be a world champion one day. He ended up becoming a world champion. And he slowly, obviously, once he gained fame, started to degrade and started doing drugs, obviously. I think, certain drugs obviously lead to these types of outcomes. He started doing drugs, and he started being really erratic. He became very egotistical, super narcissistic. He had the time where he threw the dolly into a bus and, shattered a window, and one of the other fighters got glass in his eye. And, so at that point, I kind of started to pull away from, liking McGregor, but he was a fighter. So it was like him being a little nuts wasn't that big of a deal. But, I was definitely like, Conor's a cool fighter, but he's kind of a fucking maniac, and he doesn't seem like he's a very good human being anymore. And then recently, I think it was last year, it came out that he was held civilly liable for assaulting a woman. And immediately, in hearing the evidence that was provided about how bruised this woman was when she went, and all these things, I was like, you know what? I'm done here. I don't want to be supportive, even in a very basic way, even just cheering on a fighter. I don't want to be supportive of that. So I'm willing to pull away from that. And to Five Alarm's point, when you say that he's willing to ban anybody but left-leaning, willing to ban anybody that has a left-leaning ideology, obviously that's not free speech. And obviously that's not the town square. And obviously, at the end of the day, it is his platform. And as I said, previous to him owning it as a private company, they can do whatever the fuck they want. But at least be honest about it. At least say, yeah, that's what we do here. If you don't agree with us, we ban you. There is no free speech on X. And I'll actually agree with you. I'll actually say, yeah, as a private business, he can do whatever the fuck he wants with it. But remember, that's the same argument I made before he owned X, when all those same people were complaining that they were being silenced. So at least I'm being consistent. You know what I'm saying?
This article. Elon Musk's social media platform X has suspended several accounts belonging to opposition figures in Turkey amid widespread civil unrest in the country. Musk, a self-proclaimed protector of free speech, said he acquired X to restore free speech on the platform. Now, here's the main takeaway. Elon Musk is not only hurting freedom of speech on his own platform, but he's helping aid authoritarians in other countries. Read about how ridiculous this is. The suspensions and bans from Elon Musk come after huge demonstrations were sparked by the arrest of Turkish President Erdogan's main political rival. So Erdogan's political rival was arrested, and then demonstrations spark out because people are demanding some form of democracy, are demanding some form of freedom of speech or freedom of elections. And then Elon Musk begins banning content about those demonstrations. Erdogan's opponent was arrested.
And that's more hypocrisy for you right there. It's another one of these crazy hypocritical stances that they've taken, that they were like, we don't want to be globalists. Biden's trying to be a globalist. They're trying to establish the new world order. Agenda 21, bro! All of that shit. And now they're literally interfering in foreign elections, which is another thing. When I would say Russia's meddling in America's elections, people would always say, yeah, but America started it. They're the one that were meddling in foreign elections. We shouldn't be meddling in foreign elections. We shouldn't have anything to do with any of that. And once again, I would say things along the lines of well, it's a game, it's a competition. When we look at people that we call our enemies, generally we're talking about them as being our competitors on the world stage. So when somebody like Russia or China is interfering in our elections, we're going to interfere in theirs. Same thing goes the other way. When we interfere in Russia or China's elections, they're going to interfere in ours. But saying, I'm not going to do it, Generally, that's not going to stop the other people from doing it. But it was always very fucking wild to have these like MAGA, or more or less they were like RFK Jr. people that became MAGA, that would say, yeah, well, the reason this is all happening is because Joe Biden's a globalist and he's interfering in other people's elections and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, so you guys still feel that? You guys still agree with that? Because if you do, then you disagree with Elon Musk. And there's so many different points of hypocrisy from the Maha and MAGA people when it comes to all this stuff, that once again, it's to the point where you have to say to yourself, like, there is no pointing out their hypocrisy. This is the Cenk thing, right? Like, Cenk's like, if I just show them how Donald Trump is actually not pro-peace, he's pro-war, then they'll all come to this realization, and then they'll not vote for him again. But there's tons of evidence to show that these people, from the very fucking beginning, have had their hypocrisy pointed out to them over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Sorry. It's frustrating. And it hasn't changed a goddamn thing about who they're going to vote for. It just actually makes them more stubborn and makes them want to more push back, and eventually you just get to a point and go, yeah, whatever, we meddle in their elections because they're fucking shitty people. And you're like, okay, then you agree with what I originally said then.
Arrested just hours before he was nominated to be the presidential candidate for the main opposition party. The opposition protests have spread despite the government banning gatherings for 4 days. The government banned gatherings. Much of the opposition activity has centered around universities, and many of those connected to the demonstrations are now finding their X accounts suspended. This is absolutely sick. Elon Musk is using X to suspend democratic demonstrations across the globe. He's been doing this for a while, but now, after Erdogan arrests his political opponent, Elon Musk bans people. I mean, this should be a bigger story. Everybody should be talking about this. Our foot should be on Elon Musk's neck, metaphorically, of course, because he is right now hurting democracy abroad.
I love how Adam
the
does
majority of accounts suspended were, quote, university-associated activist accounts, basically sharing protest information or locations for students to go, said Yusuf Khan, a coordinator and analyst at the Wilson Center's Middle East program. Many of the accounts are, quote, grassroots activists with their followings in the low tens of thousands, said Khan. Imagine some of the revolutions across history. Imagine South Korea turning into a democracy decades ago, but what's holding them back is a billionaire with a social media platform trying to suppress the demonstrations. Yep. Imagine Tiananmen Square not only being suppressed by the Chinese government.
The one thing I will say, though, is that people should stop using that as an excuse. I didn't like it when the Trump supporters used it as an excuse, and I don't like it when we do either. It's, if you are that concerned, then you should find a way to use your voice. Like, I understand that social media makes it easier to do that, and I understand that social media also amplifies that voice. But in the 60s, there was tons of oppression, tons of opposition, and still the civil rights movement was successful to a certain amount, right? And I think that what Bernie Sanders and AOC are doing right now is very akin to the MLKs of the day going out and giving these speeches and speaking to these large gatherings of people. And I think that, it's amplified and you find more people showing up there because of social media and stuff like that. And it's very important in today's day and age that we have access to these tools. But there are left-wing people that should also be doing their part to make these tools available to us. There are left-wing billionaires. There are left-wing social media platforms like Blue Sky. But I still think that we shouldn't become apathetic and say, oh, this is unfair that this is happening. And instead, it should actually make you upset. It should actually make you angry. And it should make you say, oh, okay, if you're going to try to stop me, well, it's going to be very fucking difficult for you because I'm not going to let that happen. I think that that's the passion that the left lacks, that the left really had during the 60s. That, like, kind of, that spine, that wherewithal to say, you can't tell me to shut up. I'm going to continue to be loud. I'm gonna be Benny Loco, and I'm gonna yell over your fucking loud horn, your fucking bullhorn, But I like that metaphorically. Yeah, I like the metaphorically. You heard it from Adam, but yeah, I just that's the one thing I'm gonna disagree with here.
Government, but you also have a billionaire trying to suppress the demonstrations in the first place. It is a gross overstepping by Elon Musk.
We can't be lazy.
And this video was mainly going to be me kind of joking about Elon Musk playing around with the silverware at a Trump gala. Let me play this clip.
Yeah, come
Elon
on.
Musk thinks he's all cool
Look
and
at the girl.
mysterious because he has silverware
Look at the girl.
balancing
What the
on his
fuck is
finger.
going on
Oh,
there?
wow, what a cool, quirky, funny, memey guy. No, this is not a funny clip anymore. I find it quite annoying because
it's fucking weird. I'm sorry, but I'm pro drugs as long as they're regulated. I'm pro, or I'm anti-war on drugs and stuff like that. But when it comes to the professionalism of being like a dude that's going through and potentially cutting waste, fraud, and abuse as he's claiming he is, like, you have to be professional. It's like if a police officer pulls you over and they're really like grungy or dirty, like you feel like you can't, well, most of us can't trust police anyways, but you feel like you can't trust that person. Like if a person's trying to sell you something and, they haven't showered or they're dirty or, or they're acting a fool or, whatever it is, you don't feel like you trust them. And the one place that we should 100% be able to trust you is in the government. And when I say that, I mean that figuratively, because obviously, once again, we don't trust the government. But we should at least be able to look at your actions within the government and feel some type of like safety about like how you go about things. And when it looks like the White House is just fucking Elon Musk on a ketamine high, fucking playing with silverware while some chick looks like she's vibing also on the ketamine. I don't know whether she is or not, but it's fucking weird and it's really disheartening to see.
Because while this is happening, the same day this is happening, quote, some accounts appear to be suspended only in Turkey and not the rest of the world, reports Politico, which means Elon Musk is
Adam
again
clickbaited
trying to ban account. Okay, just take a step back. Elon Musk is loosening restrictions on hate speech so people can go on Twitter or X and spread extremist content. You can post pictures of swastikas. You can post Hitler speeches, which there's an argument for free speech. When people are posting Hitler speeches and swastikas on a daily basis, on an hourly basis, maybe we need a little bit stricter content moderation. But on one hand, he's loosening content restrictions so more extremist content can be pushed, but then he's also restricting pro-democracy content, which raises a lot of questions about, number one, his goals. He really does want to turn the earth into this far-right populist wasteland where he has a bunch of power, but also we're witnessing a case study on how wealth can be basically leveraged to monopolize speech. Elon Musk's control over X, it's not just about banning individual accounts. It's not just about suspending.
Like I said, even his work in the government isn't about money. It's not about money. It's about authority, and it's about control, and it's about power. The money is that's just the icing on the cake. And the same thing goes with X here. I mean, at the end of the day, he could make more money by silencing the swastika, silencing the white nationalist content and stuff like that, because he would have more advertisers. But it's not the money that he cares about. It's about the ability to control the content in a way that he wants it to be controlled, because he's got enough money. He just wants to feel that power, that authority, and that control. And I think that he accomplishes that obviously through X, and he's starting to accomplish that by gaining the information that he needs from our government right now. Like I said, a month from now, Elon Musk could be gone from the government, and everybody's going to be like, cool, good, finally. All right, now things are okay. No. The bad part has already happened, okay? Like, the bad part as far as, like, people losing their jobs, people losing their Social Security, people losing their health care, that's to come, for sure. But the bad part that Elon Musk wanted to accomplish has already happened. He silenced the investigators that were attempting to look into his businesses and his dealings and bring lawsuits against him. He's garnered the information that he wanted to take from the government for whatever reason that he wishes to have it. Once again, I believe that's for power and control. He's already done that. And it doesn't matter how much Letitia James gets up in front of everybody and goes, me and 18 other attorney generals have held Elon Musk accountable, and we've stopped him from accessing your information, and we told him he better delete those files. Like, he's not deleting those files. That's his information. He's already accomplished the bad thing. So even if Donald Trump, let's say a month from now, cuts Elon and says, all right, Elon's gone. Don't worry. Sorry about that. Like, I want my people to love me. Elon's gone. It's okay now. It's not, because he's already done the bad part. He's already done the bad part because he wants control and he wants power and he wants authority. And the way that you have control is through knowledge. And he has that knowledge now. Rewind and show Elon Musk again. Okay, hold on. Where are we at? We're at 10:12 because I don't want to have to watch the whole video over again. Let's just watch this shit. It's fucking
Musk.
It's so weird.
And this video was mainly going to be me kind of joking about Elon Musk playing around with the silverware at a Trump gala. Let me play this clip. Elon Musk thinks he's all cool and mysterious because he has silverware balancing on his finger. Oh, wow.
Okay, and for all the dudes out there that say they can't get laid, all right, that's this guy's skills, all right? He's got 15 kids. Fucking, I don't know, learn to balance fucking forks and spoons on your fingers. Apparently, this is what chicks dig in fucking right-wing circles.
Wow, what a cool, quirky, funny, memey guy. No, this is not a funny clip anymore. I find it quite annoying.
I wonder whether or not she's pulling out her phone because she's bored, or she's pulling out her phone because she's about to take a video of him and fucking post that shit online. I need to find that.
It's not just about suspending certain activists.
Kelly,
it's about
100%
reshaping
about
the global information ecosystem to benefit his own far-right populist interests, if you pick up what I'm laying down. So we are witnessing some scary stuff right here. I mean, Turkey's interior minister said on X that authorities have found 326 social media accounts that are inciting hatred. Okay, so Turkey's interior minister, basically a propagandist, is saying, hey, Elon Musk had to suspend these people because they were pushing hatred. You can't push hatred on X. It's like, really? You can't push hatred on X? People are posting swastikas and saying that, I mean, the Nazis didn't kill enough Jews, whatever the hell.
Yeah, I literally went down the fucking white nationalist Twitter hole. One night, I saw some assholes comment on somebody's tweet, and I was like, whoa, that person looks crazy. And I clicked their profile to go to their profile, and it was a white nationalist, white supremacist. And I was like, okay, let's look at some of his content and stuff. And I was scrolling through his tweets, and it was all fucking the most insane racist shit you've ever seen in your life. And then what X does is it suggests to you people like that person that you can also friend. So I started clicking people in the suggested and just going down this whole fucking hole. And I grew up with skinheads. I grew up with White Power. I grew up with fucking 88s, Peckerwoods, Featherwoods, SWP, all that shit. I grew up with all those people, right? So I thought, like, pretty much, or my idea of who those people are is pretty much very, like, thuggery, right? Like, they're very lowbrow fucking people, guys with, you know, big swastikas on the side of their face and shit like that. And going into that hole was fucking eye-opening. The same way it was for this book behind me, the Broken Badges and White Robes book. To see the types of people that are involved in white nationalism, like, it really opened my eyes, like I said, just like the book did, to the fact that, like, I have this kind of vision of what a white supremacist is because of my background, because of my youth. And to me, it was like much more like a lowbrow, like, you know, your shittiest human being, lowest common denominator. And a lot of these people are actually like full on writing fucking novels about why they think that the white race should be taking over and be in charge of this shit. And it was fucking mind-blowing that this is as prevalent on a social media platform as it was. It was crazy. I didn't know that there was like this fucking like just whole off to the side community of these fucking people on X. But I know now.
You could find it on Twitter. You could think of the most vile, anti-Semitic, racist, xenophobic, even Islamophobic thing possible, and you will be able to find it on X. So if X is willing to suspend opposition accounts in Turkey for promoting democracy, if X is willing to silence reporters who are exposing Elon Musk and basically just bend to the will of authoritarian regimes, then it's no longer a platform for free speech. It never was. It was always a weapon of censorship. And let me just leave it there. All that I ask from you is to drop a like, subscribe. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.
Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe to Adam. I'll put his channel in here. Oh, did I end up on this one again? Oh, it says Norland, Chris Norland. I don't know how that is. Anyways, go like and subscribe to Adam Mockler. I legit believe, I don't know if you guys know who Edward R. Murrow is, but Edward R. Murrow is the guy who eventually led to the downfall of McCarthy during the Red Scare. And he was a media member, very well-trusted media member, that really kind of found a relationship with everyday Americans through the reporting on the World War. And in the end, Edward Murrow made this video about McCarthy that is very much the same thing as people like Adam Mockler make, where it's like, let me show you, let me expose the hypocrisy. Here's where he said this, and now he did this. Here's where he did this, but then he said this. And in talking to Clay Risen, I asked him that. I said, hey, man, you know, there's not a lot of trust in our culture for the media anymore. So what do you think? Do you think that there's somebody out there right now that's going to be the Edward R. Murrow of this generation that's going to put the brakes on Donald Trump and Elon Musk and find a way to reach Americans with a message that they can like get on board with about these guys and their hatred and their anger and the way that they sell fear? And he said at the time, unfortunately, because he's a reporter for the New York Times, he said, hey, it's unfortunately not going to be me, or somebody like me because I'm a reporter, but it could be an Instagram influencer. It could be a YouTube content creator. It could be, any different type of alternate media. And I think that that's 100% true, because I think that people nowadays are becoming more and more savvy with being on the internet and understanding how to find people like Adam Mockler. And the more people that find Adam Mockler, the more he reaches them, because he has a very good way of speaking. Look, I talk a lot of shit. I laugh at people. I mock people. I'm definitely going to turn certain people off. There's a reason I don't have 1 million subscribers. But Adam Mockler has a really kind of easy to get along with personality. And occasionally when he gets upset and actually says something, it actually comes off as pertinent, because you're like, oh, he's not always cursing. He's not always talking shit. So when he does it, it actually comes across with some type of force. And I believe that Adam Mockler is going to blossom over the next 4 years. And I know you guys are like, he's already got 1 million subscribers. No, I think this is just the tip of the iceberg for Adam Mockler. I think that the videos that he creates and the way that he reaches people is really fucking special. And I think that he will be the Edward R. Murrow of this generation. And we really got to look to our young people and believe in them, have faith in them, have hope in them, that they're going to help us extract ourselves from this really shitty situation and potentially bring us into a much better outlook for America and our relationships with everybody that Donald Trump is currently running them with. What's up, Sib Fedorio Ganic? Thanks for being over there on Twitch. I appreciate you guys when you guys are over there on Twitch. Horribly written novels, might I add. Angry Ginger, yet others are low IQ, low intelligence, but they went through editors and publishing and still sound so fucking idiotic. Yeah. Do not disagree. Well, Mike, you're in Adam Mockler's comments. Of course you are. I like Parker. I think Parker's a fucking fantastic debater. I think Parker seems like a genuinely good kid. I think that Parker at times, there's this one thing that he does that I think can be a turnoff for certain people. And that is he likes to do during his debates, and I know he does it on purpose, but he'll start doing the thank you for the $5 over there while a person's talking. And, I get it. It's exhausting debating Trump supporters, and you hear the same shit over and over and over again. But he obviously does it to fuck with him. And if I see it, then they see it, right? So I think, Parker's a good kid. And yes, I think he'll have his lane. Like I said before, left-wing people need to stop shitting on other left-wing people's content. Like, specifically speaking of Parker, Harry Sasson right now, I'm not going to enter into what's going on with Harry Sasson. I'm not going to enter into what's going on with Destiny. I'm not going to enter into these fucking baited traps to get left-wing content creators to talk shit about other left-wing content creators. I have personal opinions on those people's actions, and, I lead by example. So I don't think I need to tell you guys how I feel about those things. I think that I show you with my actions how I would feel about those things, and you can just assume it. But there is a real problem on YouTube specifically, but probably on other social media platforms as well, of left-wing content creators making money by shitting on other left-wing content creators. So when it comes to Parker, I may sometimes disagree with some of the tactics he uses in his debates, but I fully support him in doing what he's doing because he has his lane and I have mine. And, it's a fucking Captain Planet type of strategy. It's with our powers combined, we can fucking win this. I can't get with the whole fighting with each other. I asked an online content creator the other day in their chat, a big one, almost 1 million subscribers. I said, why is it that the left continues to hate watch each other's videos and mock and criticize other left-wing content creators when we should obviously be trying to support each other, even though we don't all have the exact same opinions? And he said, he just straight up said it. He's like, it's money. It's like, it's clicks and views, bro. It's money, and that's fucking sad because if I was on here to make $1 billion, then I think that the message that I'm trying to get across to people would not be as effective. And I think that, people know. I think when people see you act contrived, when people know like you're super fucking materialistic, it comes across really heavy and people see that, and it's very easy to point out for other people. And I think that like shitting on other left-wing content creators is absolutely the last thing that we should possibly be doing right now. Diane is live now. 21st Century Suffragettes. What's up, 21st Century Suffragettes? Yeah, you guys can go check out that for sure. You can go right now if you want to. I love Diane and those guys over there. The Harry Sasson thing. Harry had some interactions with some women where he had asked for pictures. It all seems consensual, and like I said, I don't want to get into that, but you can go look it up. Young people make mistakes, and I don't even know if he made a mistake, to be honest with you, but young people make mistakes, and we can't crucify everybody, specifically young people, for having, awkward interactions or making bad decisions. I made a lot of bad decisions when I was a kid. If you guys fucking knew me when I was 20, you'd probably not like me very much. It's all about growth and education and becoming a better person. But either way, like I said, I think the left needs to stop with that shit. You watch it online all the time. Even with the jank stuff, you guys have noticed I have opinions on jank. I express those opinions, but I don't spend every show that I watch hate watching TYT, right? Like, my hope is that jank figures his shit out and stops with this bullshit. And Progressive Matters. That's my show. TYT is one of the biggest progressive voices on the channel. I know a lot of people disagree with them being a progressive voice, but like I like Jay. What's his name? God damn it, Jay. God, I always forget his last name. And then Ida Laura, and I like a lot of the TYT content creators. I'm just right now not a big fan of Jank, and definitely not a big fan of Anna. And but at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and spend my entire time hate watching TYT because it'll give me a bunch of views. I know it will. Look, making money is okay. I don't hate on any one of these content creators for making money. Good on you. But it should be a byproduct. It should be your message is so fucking good. Your message is so fucking on point that people want to continue to incentivize you to be on here and spread your message. That should be why you make money. It shouldn't be attempting to grift, because it is grift off of hate for other content creators. It should be left-wing voices uniting to spread a positive message. And then if you can make money off of that, like Brian Tyler Cohen or David Pacman or any of these other big voices out there, good on you. I'm fucking happy that you can do it, and I'm glad that people support you so you can do it more often. Good on you. But fuck all that, like, content creator hate shit, dude. It just drives me nuts. Indisputable. Exactly, Angela. That's another one. I almost missed that one. Indisputable as well. Fucking amazing. JR. Thank you, LB. JR. Love JR. All right. Let's see. Let's watch this. This guy's name, you guys always know all the cool creators, and I don't know him. JL Coven. I don't know how to say his last name. I always feel bad when I say people's last name. Here we go. I'm gonna put his video in the chat here for you guys. All right. This is this guy. He does an impersonation of Donald Trump, and I watched the first like 30 seconds of it, and I thought it was pretty good. So I wanted to watch this on stream with you guys because it looks super fucking funny. This is Donald Trump's 2025 March Madness bracket. Can you imagine what Donald Trump's March Madness bracket would look like? He's like, Iowa, really like Iowa. We've heard good things about Iowa. They're probably going to win it all. They're like, sir, there are no colleges in Iowa that are currently in March Madness. And he's like, doesn't matter. It's a shame. It's a shame. They should be. All right, here we go.
Americans and basketball enthusiasts, and by that I mean blacks, for Trump, of course, not the other blacks, and whites who want to be black, which is a lot bigger group than I thought it was, but we're going to fight to get them back in 2028 for my third term. But I always saw Obama who
for the third term
player when everybody knew he was a big, skinny nerd. He was always, I have my brackets, and everybody go, Obama put brackets out. Well, guess what? Trump can do brackets too, and Trump can do brackets a lot better than Obama and all of his friends, okay?
Oh, shit, sorry.
So, first of all, basketball.
Oh, Kelly. Good job, Kelly. There you go. We'll restart it. Oh, my God. You guys are listening to, like, the audio podcast version. Drink! The angry ginger forgot to push a button. It's time to drink, guys. All right, we're gonna do it one more time.
Hello,
it's worth it anyways.
And basketball enthusiasts, and by that I mean blacks, for Trump, of course, not the other blacks, and whites who want to be black, which is a lot bigger group than I thought it was, but we're gonna fight to get them back in 2028 for my third term. But I always saw Obama who pretended to be a basketball player when everybody knew he was a big, skinny nerd. He was.
Dude, you know how much money I would pay? I'd pay so much money, guys, to watch Obama play Donald Trump in basketball. Dude, holy shit. If Donald Trump played Barack Obama, that would probably be the end. Trump would probably last about 30 seconds, and his Big Mac-ridden heart would just give out. Barack Obama would dunk on Donald Trump. Donald Trump, no way in hell can Donald Trump get elevated, right? Like his vertical is like actually a negative vertical, right? He's got it like a negative 2-inch vertical. Oh, I'd pay so much money to see that.
He's always, I have my brackets, and everybody go, Obama put brackets out. Well, guess what?
5-alarm. We will try to make that happen.
A lot better than Obama.
I'd love to get on there and talk to you.
His friends, okay? So, and first of all, basketball was invented in America by a
What's
white,
up, Stan?
Okay? What the hell would a skinny Kenyan guy know about basketball? Not too much. Stick to the marathon runnings, Hussein. But we are doing NCAA tournament brackets just in time for today when they start. Okay. Now I'm just going to run through. Obviously, just you follow along on a bracket. Okay, this is what a bracket looks like if you're stupid. But we do left down, right down, then I just talk, and you'll know who I have winning, and it's a very very strong choice.
He's got it down.
People expect because I'm a great patriot and a strong American. You might be surprised by who I have winning, but it makes total sense. So I have Auburn beating Alabama State in the battle of Can You Read? And then I have Creighton beating Louisville because Creighton, I think I've always seen them, they always seem to have good whites on their team. Not great whites like the Shark, but good whites. And then I have Texas A&M over San Diego in California because the hell out of here, California. And then I have, I have Michigan beating UC San Diego because Michigan is a Trump state. I have Texas A&M beating Yale, which is very upsetting to Brett Kavanaugh. I think he did an extra beer. Ole Miss over North Carolina. No offense, we like North Carolina, but we love the illiteracy, the obesity, and the stupidity of Mississippi. So let's go Ole Miss. Iowa State, I'm having them upset because Lipcom.
I told you!
I just sort of like that name, Lipcom. And I have them winning. Then we have Marquette. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Marquette over New Mexico. Because if you've seen Breaking Bad, you know there's a lot of meth in New Mexico. And Marquette almost sounds like a black guy, but I know they're in Wisconsin, which is a Trump state, so we have Marquette winning. And then I have Michigan State beating Lane Bryant, okay, which for obvious reasons. You know, some of the blacks for Trump like the Lane Bryant bodies. I don't. So bye-bye Lane Bryant University. Then I have Florida beating Norfolk State, even though I like the name Norfolk. Florida is just, it's where I live. It's where I live. We gotta have them. And then Oklahoma beating Yukon. Obviously, that's a Trump state over a radical left state. And Memphis over Colorado State. Now, Memphis was tough because they're in Tennessee, which is a Trump state, but they're sort of a black part. Okay? But then I remember...
Dude, this is like literally what it would fucking sound like if Donald Trump did this shit. Oh my God.
I remembered MLK got shot in Memphis, so I said, okay, Memphis, you get the vote. I have Maryland, a radical left state, losing in an upset to the Grand Canyon because the Grand Canyon is huge. And in basketball, you got to be big, got to have that height, and I don't think there's anybody taller than the Grand Canyon. And then Missouri, I have getting upset by Drake because I didn't like Kenneth Lamar at the Super Bowl. I thought it was a disgrace and disrespectful what he did, and I didn't understand what the hell he was saying. So
he said Kenneth Lamar. Oh,
dude. Side with Drake, even though Drake is Canadian, this sort of proves that I'm not against all Canadians. I like Drake, I like Wayne Gretzky, and the rest of them can go to hell. So I have Drake with the upset. And then I have Texas Tech, because I like TT. That's I call them TT University.
TT!
We like TTs. Over UNC Wilmington. Shit. And then I have Arkansas beating Kansas. Because Arkansas, that's like more Kansas than Kansas. So in the Battle of Kansases, I go with Arkansas, which is run by my great press secretary, Lazy Eye. From TLC, I think. We called her Lazy Eye. And then I have St. John's over Omaha because we do very well with the Catholics for Trump. On the other side of the bracket now, starting with Duke. Obviously Duke is winning.
Because they're white.
Against Mount St. Mary, although I got to be honest, I like the idea of mounting St. Mary because usually saints don't let you do sex to them. But if you can mount St. Mary, that's a strong university. But I have Duke winning anyway. And then I have Baylor beating Mississippi State. So I have Duke and Baylor in the second round, which is a beautiful matchup of a fake sexual assault scandal versus a real sexual assault scandal. So we'll win that one, we'll see. I have Oregon losing to Liberty University because of the strong Christian values of Jerry Falwell Jr. They'll be beating Oregon. Oregon will be gone. Bye-bye, Antifa University. That's what we call it. And then I have Arizona beating Akron, which is sort of like Sheriff Joe Arpaio beating LeBron James. Bye-bye. Michael Jordan's better. BYU.
Damn. Goddamn. I can't believe I'm going to say this. Even for a fake Trump, even though he's a fake Trump, Michael Jordan was better. Come at me, bro. Okay? Jordan was better. Sorry to say it. Yep, I just agreed with fake Trump, and it feels dirty. It feels gross. I feel sad.
Versus VCU. They sound like health clinics, and I have, in a surprise, BYU beating VCU, even that, because it's sort of, Utah is a little more Trump than Mitt Romney. VCU, which is very Trump, but it's in a state that went for Koala Bear Harris, so I go with BYU. And then in a battle of Wisconsin versus Montana, I'm going with Yellowstone, Montana. Then we have St. Mary's, which is weak. Okay, St. Mary's is weak because they're not letting you mount. I like Mount St. Mary's because it's sort of sexual. Whereas St. Mary's is sort of the prude university. There's no
way, Max.
I had them losing to Vanderbilt. I'm going to change that. I had Vanderbilt losing, but I realized, Vanderbilt over St. Mary's. And then, of course, I have Alabama over Robert Morris because who the hell is Robert Morris? You're going to go out against Alabama with one guy? In the last bracket, I have Houston.
Oh, dude. It reminds me of that Shane Gillis, white guys. Maybe we should watch that shit because it's hilarious. The Shane Gillis skit on the desegregation of schools, and it was like Alabama was the last school to desegregate, and he made a skit about that shit, and it was hilarious.
We don't have a problem. You're going to beat SIUE, which I think is like
maybe.
A union. So we hate them. And then I have Georgia beating Gonzaga. Once again, red state over blue state. Clemson beating McNeese. How the hell are you going to... McNeese? Is that like a HSBCU LMNOP?
LMNOP?
School? I don't know. McNeese. Bye-bye, McNeese. You're losing to Clemson. And then in an upset, I have High Point beating Purdue because High Point. When your name is High Point, you better do well, okay? Or else you're going to be Low Point University or college or whatever the hell you are.
Low Point!
I have Charles Xavier from the X-Men beating Illinois because they can use strong mind, talent. And then I have Kentucky beating Troy because, once again, Troy, one guy. These schools, they're sending one guy. It's the
type of shit that a Trump supporter would be like, he's just joking. And you're like, no, he isn't. No, he isn't. He has no idea.
What's your competition for the entire state of Kentucky? We sent a guy named Troy. Troy's going to lose, and he's going to lose like a dog.
He's going to lose like a dog.
Utah State, obviously, that's another red state versus blue state. Bye-bye, UCLA. Utah State's going to kick the crap out of you. And then Tennessee versus Wilford Brimley University, and I have Tennessee destroying Wilford Brimley, unless he gets one of the cocoons. Unless he touches one of the cocoons and gets that young energy. And now we're going to just
run brought a cocoon reference in.
Because you're probably saying this is funny, sir, but it's a little boring, and I agree. That's why I do strong tennis and golf and yachting and not hoops, as they call it. Then I have okay, so let's just get. We go Auburn versus Texas. Those are the winners. I have Texas beating Michigan. I have Auburn beating Creighton. Lipcomb with another upset over Ole Miss.
Dude, Lipcomb's going to win,
and
dude.
they're going to face Michigan State, who beat
He's
Marquette.
picking Lipcomb.
Okay? And then we have Florida beating Oklahoma. I got to show them. And then another upset, Grand Canyon. Too big for Memphis. And then Drake beats TT. Okay? TT. Texas Tech loses to Drake because Drake is once again fighting Carlton Lamar. And they will go up against St. John's, who beat Arkansas because Catholics over Huckabee. I have Duke beating Baylor because even though they had a fake sexual assault scandal, unlike Baylor, they did call the stripper the N-word, and I thought, you know what? Good enough to move on. They'll face Liberty, who beat Arizona because, of course, the strong Christian values of Jerry Falwell Jr. I have
The breath.
Montana beating BYU.
The breath, dude.
Alabama
It's killing
beating
me.
Vanderbilt. Georgia beating Houston. High Point with an upset over Clemson, because for God's sakes, their name is High Point. And then Charles Xavier University uses mind control to beat Kentucky. And Tennessee beats the crap out of Utah State. Now we're at what they call the Sweet 16, okay, which was my favorite birthday party for Ivanka.
Boy.
We actually held it
no.
in a foreign country where the age of consent was 13.
Oh,
so
no.
it's totally legal. And I have Auburn finally ending the Cinderella ride of Lipcomb. Lipcomb, no, bye-bye.
Lipcomb didn't
Grand
win.
Canyon losing to Drake because Drake is fighting the good fight. Even though he's not American, he's fighting black crip walking. So thank you, Drake. So we have Auburn versus Drake.
That's the whitest thing I think I've ever heard in my life. Black crip walking. Oh my god. And I need timeouts for this. This is 11 minutes of fucking zingers. This is like, I could, there's no way I could write this many good zingers in 11 and a half minutes. This is rap god comedian version.
Did I skip around? Who the hell cares? What? Auburn versus Drake in the Final Four, okay? How about that? A great school full of MAGA versus a great warrior fighting the blacks in America. And then in the other one, I have Duke beating Alabama. We're probably skipping matchups. Who the hell cares? Duke beats Alabama because they're Duke and they have Cooper flag. And we love the flag and we love a white flag. And I have Georgia losing to Tennessee in a strong battle of Trump states. So we have Duke versus Tennessee, Auburn versus Drake in the Final Four. And I have Drake singing, rapping, acting, and Canadianing over Auburn to make the finals. And I have Duke led by Cooper Flag destroying Tennessee. So we have a matchup of Drake versus Duke. They almost sound like they're related.
Oh,
Hello,
boy.
Drake. Hello, Duke. Like they could be brothers. And in a very big upset that I know nobody's going to have, I love Duke. I love Cooper Flag. We salute the flag.
Drake.
I might dry hump Cooper Flag when I see him because I'll mistake him for a regular American flag. But in a big upset,
Oh, fuck.
and maybe Canada should
face
say
hurts.
thank you for this, I have Drake defeating Duke in the finals. Take that, Carlton Lamar. You're not like us. That's right, you're not like us. And I'd like you to go to the back of the bus.
Oh,
How about that for MAGA bar? We call that MAGA bars. Okay, they're both rap and racist. So congratulations, Drake. You beat Duke. You're the champion. Bye-bye.
So
my
AOC
God,
and Bernie
dude, why
Sanders.
does Chris Norland keep trying to play? Jesus Christ. Oh, I must have it queued. Holy Jesus. That was amazing. Drake takes it all. Over Kenneth Lamar. Oh, dude. I watched 30 seconds of that. I knew that was going to be fucking fire. I knew that was. Because segregation is back. Oh, wait. Have you guys ever seen the Ollie G? Have you guys ever seen the Ollie G video with Donald Trump? If you haven't seen this, I'm going to play this for you because this is wild. This is like one of my favorite Ollie G videos of all time. This is back before, obviously, this is when Trump had just gotten his scalp pulled forward. Okay? This is when they yanked that receding hairline down closer to his eyebrows. Like, Trump here, look, he's doing the Elon thing. Look, he's got the Elon fucking vagina hands going on. Is this a secret message? Is it Illuminati confirmed? Oh, I love Chris Norland. Yeah, Chris Norland's one of my favorites. All right, you guys ready for this?
Okay, it's nice and
And how does I call you, like...
You can call me Donald.
For real.
Okay.
It's Trump, innit?
Right. And Raheem, remember at the beginning, what you did...
TR...
You can tell he's annoyed, like, right at the bat. He doesn't know who Ollie G is. He doesn't know who Sacha Baron Cohen is. I think this is from early 2000s. He doesn't know that this is a setup that he's being made fun of.
It's up there. So how long has there been businesses?
Well, business started from the day one, from early in the world.
Yeah, and just in case you ever thought that, like, Donald Trump has his dementia is actually making him sound dumber? No. His answer to that question just confirms right there. Like, this dude does not have actual thoughts.
They've been businesses.
Well, business started from the day one, from early in the world.
Day one, early in the world.
What was they doing business in back in the day?
Many, many, many years ago, hundreds of millions of years ago, people were doing business, and they were trading in rocks.
He said they were trading in rocks. Oh, dog. I know some people that was trading rocks.
Years ago, hundreds of millions of years ago, people were doing business, and they were trading in rocks and stones and other things.
Who would want to buy rocks?
I don't know, man. You gotta ask them that.
I've got some business idea that I just want to tell you about, and I'll be a fool if...
Very quickly.
He's like, I want out of here so bad.
So AOC
what
and
the
Bernie...
fuck? What did I do?
I'm not sure if you're
Oh,
familiar
God,
with
what-
the hacker group.
What is going on here? Oh my God. What did I do? I did bad things, guys. Hold on. Nope. Nope.
So
there we go. Jesus Christ. I did bad things,
doing
guys.
business in back in the day.
Many, many, many years ago, hundreds of millions of years ago, people were doing business, and they were
pushing
trading
buttons.
in rocks and stones and other things.
Who would want to buy rocks?
I don't know, man. You gotta ask them that.
I
I've
could
got
watch
some
this like
business
over and
idea
over
that
again.
I just want to tell you about, and I'll be a fool.
I
if-
literally
very
watched this so
quick.
many times.
What is the most popular thing in the world?
Music.
No.
Tell me.
Ice cream.
Okay.
Everyone has it. And
the fucking... Sure. Agree to disagree.
what is the problem with ice cream?
I have no idea.
It drips.
Okay.
So my idea is what?
To make a drip-proof ice cream.
No. Oh, that's a fucking brilliant idea. This. All right, whatever. You ain't gonna come out with that though.
No, I promise you I won't.
Well, my idea is to come out with just like these ice cream gloves that make the ice cream not go on your hands and make it all well sticky, and also keep your hands warm.
Okay.
When you is eating the ice cream.
Okay.
Is you in or is you in?
Okay, well, it sounds like a good idea, and I hope you make a lot of money. Good luck, folks. It's been nice seeing you. You take care of yourself. Okay?
He's so mad, dude. He's so
Is you gonna
burnt.
be in on that?
Well, it sounds like an interesting...
We've got like P. Diddy is gonna be in it.
Good.
So AOC...
Okay, Chris Norland, stop it. Oh, dude. Oh, God, he's so amazing. He was so mad. Oh, he's so... Oh, excuse me. So mad. Oh, man. I think I, like, lost a video while I was doing all this. Oh, man. All right. Let's see. Where are we at here? Where are we at here? Oh, God, that was so amazing. Those two videos back to back might have been a little too much. My face hurts now. Yeah, tons of Ollie G's interviews and it like that. Jeremy, my favorite Ollie G video. Let's go big me for a second. And then I'll forget to click back. My favorite Ollie G video of all time is when he brings on this scientist, or maybe he's a doctor. And he's like, yo, so what's up with what's going on in Asia right now? And the guy's like, what? What are you talking about? He's like, you know, they be killing all those people over there. And he's like, yeah, you know, euthanasia is actually a real problem. And he's like, but why it gotta be the youth in Asia though? Why are we blaming the youth in Asia? And the guy's like, what? Yeah, euthanasia. It's not. It's something that we don't like that. He's like, I get what you're saying, but why does it have to be about the youth in Asia? That's racist. It's fucking amazing. I don't do it any fucking credence, dude, at all. Like, yeah, we'll find that video. Ollie G, euthanasia. It's amazing. It's absolutely hilarious. God. Yeah, it's good times. So much gold. Queen, it is live. We are live. Thank you for being over there on Twitch. Everybody, even the Trump supporters on Twitch. Thank you. Whoever comes over to my Twitch channel. Thank you so much. Everybody is over here on YouTube. Come join us on YouTube. But no, stay over there on Twitch, please. I need the viewers on Twitch. We got to build that channel. Build that channel. Build that channel. 3 short grunts. Build that channel. Or Kick. Also Kick, too. But Kick is kind of like, you can definitely score some crank over on Kick. Why is everyone on here not live playing videos on Rerun Run? Why are you... Wait, why? This is not a rerun. I feel insulted. You know what? I wanted to watch this anonymous one, but we didn't get to watch the Professor Dave video last time, and it's fucking great. The rest are? Oh, that's pretty weird. They're all just doing reruns right now. And what, did I not get the memo? I probably didn't get the memo. Oh, and I almost didn't click the button. All right, here we go. I clicked the button. All right, I can hear my son screaming up there. He's not dying, just so you guys know. That's how my children sound. Let's watch the Professor Dave video, because I really wanted to watch this last time and I didn't have enough time. And Professor Dave is dope. Professor Dave, if you don't know who he is, he debates flat earthers and debunks like shitty theology stuff. He's amazing. He's really intelligent, and he does a really good job with his videos. So let's watch Professor Dave.
Hey everyone, with Trump 2.0 underway, along with the most orchestrated attack on science America has ever seen, you're probably going to be hearing a lot from me about the Orange Clown and his breathtaking science literacy. Today's installment is about some alleged blue-haired, ultra-woke transgender mice and the millions of dollars that Biden wasted on them. Let's get into it. So this all started when Trump addressed Congress on March 4th.
Hold on, I gotta point this out. Is that a Super Nintendo? Back underneath that TV, guys. Tell me this right now. Is that a Super Nintendo? I think that's a Super Nintendo.
Haired, ultra-woke transgender mice and the millions of dollars that Biden wasted on them. Let's get into it. So this all started when Trump addressed Congress on March 4th,
Look at that
vomiting up
makeup.
a long list of alleged extravagant expenses that the previous administration put upon the poor, unwitting taxpayers. Gloriously uncovered by President Musk and his Dodgeball team. The whole speech is a circus sideshow from top to bottom, and we could dig into virtually every single one of his ludicrous claims. But let's focus on this one.
$8 million for making mice transgender. This is real.
No, it isn't.
He's such a fucking clown, dude.
Real. If you made a list of not real things, this would be pretty high up on there. Transness is not something that applies to mice. Nobody is making trans mice. He's just saying trans because transgender issues is one of the topics in the pathetic culture war he's waging that riles up his idiot supporters. Naturally, thousands of intelligent people called out this utter bullshit, mocking him relentlessly for saying such an idiotic thing. And we will explain in more detail than you want to hear how idiotic it is in just a moment. But first, this is how the President of the United States decided to respond to thousands of scientists fact-checking his ridiculous claim. Wrong, you guys. Biden totally did it.
This
Those
is on the
fake
White
news
House
losers
website.
at CNN
It's on
tried
the
to
White House
fact-check
website.
me, but I was right, as usual, because I'm always right, because I'm such a smart, special boy, like my mommy always told me. You guys, this is not a tweet. This is not a blog post. This is from whitehouse.gov, the official website for the White House. This is what America has become. The man who holds the highest office in the country, and arguably the world, talks like a bratty teenager in official White House communications. We're halfway to idiocracy, and I'm not being even remotely hyperbolic.
Nope.
I got a 3-point plan to fix everything. Department of Government Efficiency.
Getting chills? Well, tough shit, because it's a fact, you guys. Biden spent $8 million to turn mice trans. You know, those dirty transgender experiments that are totally a real thing. Then he lists the
fuck,
grant
I love
amounts and
this.
titles of the studies, the end. Well, that's very convincing, Mr. President. But first of all, $8 million is a completely negligible fraction of the $6 trillion
start
federal
fucking
budget,
with.
especially compared with the tens of billions of dollars sent to Israel over the past year and a half for the sole purpose of murdering Palestinian children. A convenient omission from your little list. But beyond that, some people actually know what all of these words mean, even if your cronies
Oh,
don't.
TT.
I mean, maybe the 19-year-old Doge staffer who goes by the name Big Balls knows what some of these words mean. He seems like a real wunderkind, but I wouldn't bet any of his rich dad's popcorn money on it. Anyway, they were kind enough to attach a document linking to all these proposed studies.
Hold on.
So let's go.
Our wife is asking who this is. This is Professor Dave. I'll link him in chat because everybody should follow Professor Dave. I mean, he's got almost 4 million subscribers, but he could always use a couple more, right? That's Professor Dave. This is a funny video. You should hear the videos where he debunks stuff.
Go
It's
through
fucking
every
amazing.
single one of these 10 scary grants with trans in them and explain what they're actually about. Spoiler alert, there isn't any waste, fraud, or abuse in any of them, so let's teach Trump a little science. First up, molecular mechanisms of hormone-mediated sex differences in wound healing. If someone took 5 seconds to read the first sentence of this grant, they would see that the first thing they address is that the cost Americans as a population spend on treating chronic wounds, or those that don't heal within 6 to 12 weeks, something which affects 1 in 50 people, is roughly $100 billion per year. Doing the math, 340 million over 50, $100 billion over all those people, that's 15 grand apiece. Assuming there is no healthcare mechanism to assist all these individuals, something which Donald Obamacare is the devil Trump truly wants to be a reality, that means 1 out of every 50 of us might have to spend almost $15,000 out of pocket. Sounds like this research could reduce the cost and improve the efficiency of treatments that millions of people will need for a collective tax investment of a measly $450,000. They also mention other afflictions that this research could have relevance towards. Weird, nothing about transgenders yet. Then they summarize what we know so far, that there seems to be a correlation between someone's sex at birth and their ability to heal wounds. Apparently, men, on average, are worse at healing wounds than women. Interesting. They go on to say that researchers have noted...
Every woman knows that a wounded man is wounded for way longer, okay? We all know that. Look, also, if I get a cold, it's practically like getting cancer, okay? If I catch the flu, yeah, it's a bad week for everyone, okay? I'm a little bitchy, just to be completely honest with you guys. Checks out.
Noticed testosterone and estradiol might specifically have some important role in these processes. But things get really confusing because it also looks like they might not be doing the same thing when examining men versus women. It would be better experimental control if we could study the effect of men taking testosterone or estradiol versus not taking them, and also the effect of women taking testosterone or estradiol versus not, so that we can figure out exactly what is going on here. They mention that examining transgender individuals would be a good idea because sometimes this is part of treatment for trans individuals. They are talking about controls. They want to utilize the fact that trans people exist in order to control for sex, to understand what a hormone does in an XX individual versus what it does in an XY individual. They don't even know if the effect of estradiol is different between sexes. They want to do that experiment, and of course we always test such things on mice first. They talk about testosterone affecting the immune system and how they want to learn more about that interaction in XX versus XY animals. Nothing so far about asking the mice their...
Dude, that's gotta be AI, right? I mean, obviously the mouse wasn't in it, but there's not a real picture of those two looking like that, right? Tell me there isn't. That's insane. Oh, this is way too many words for Trump supporters. Like, every Trump supporter that was hate watching me just logged out like fucking 6.5 minutes ago. 6.5 minutes ago.
Their preferred pronouns, they are just looking at how exogenous, meaning externally applied, hormones might improve or hinder wound healing that they think is acting through the immune system, and how it works depending on whether you have XX or XY sex chromosomes. That's it. They used the word transgender once in a sentence just to say, hey, it might...
But this is straight up, this is fucking Elon Musk 101. He's like, I ran an algorithm, it found the word transgender, there must be transgender mice. Definitely 100% confirmed transgender mice.
Might be a good idea to take a closer look at trans people getting healthcare because it might give us useful data to help understand
Jesus
wound
Christ, they're so
healing
dumb.
and save people money. But that's too triggering to Sir Groper
That's a real
Cleveland,
picture.
so we won't get that benefit. By the way, whichever brain-dead intern threw together this cute little document for Trump decided to highlight the most triggering quotes in the grants. Apparently, they were the most upset about, we developed new models and showed that testosterone, limits wound healing in large animals with different effects in XX versus XY animals.
Yeah, so?
Controls are super
That's
woke
gay.
and lame, guys. Chronic wounds are much better. Kill the study. Also, we should remember that grants in science are very competitive, with an
Shit, you're
application
still here, so that
success
means
rate
you
of
can't
roughly
possibly
20 to
actually be a
25%,
Trump supporter.
and reviewed by a panel of
I still
competing
don't believe it.
scientists within the relevant field who would absolutely love to take a giant shit on your research proposal if they see a discrepancy in your logic. If these grants sounded like an absolute waste of money, they would get
Trans-mice.
trashed. Moving on. A mouse model to test the effects of gender-affirming hormone therapy on HIV
Jesus
vaccine-induced immune responses.
From Duke.
Trigger warning.
From
This
Duke.
grant contains scary words acknowledging that trans people exist. If you have the testicular or ovarian fortitude to get past the scary bits about trans people
Ovarian
receiving
fortitude.
health care,
I've never heard
since
that
they
one
are
before.
in fact people, then we can move on to the science. Like the
Trans is such a fringe issue. It's less than 1% of the population that are trans. I hate the media for over-focusing on trans. The media is responsible for trans deaths. Yeah, and I mean, to be honest with you, even like, I'm watching this because I want to see Professor Dave. I already understand that this is a dumbass topic, but I just wanted to play a Professor Dave video for people to introduce them to Professor Dave, as he's fucking amazing. But to be 100%, the left needs to stop taking the bait from the right. When somebody says some dumb shit about transgenders in transgender bathrooms, they need to just like literally be like, we all know nobody's checking anybody's genitals at the door. That's it. We're done. We're not talking any more about this. We're not going to have this conversation. It's stupid. You're stupid. Everything is stupid. Because literally, you can say that nowadays, and it's true. If you just say, it's stupid, you're stupid, everything is stupid, that's you're going to probably 100% accuracy with that. 100% accuracy. So... You know, like, I agree 100% that, like, the news obviously covers it because it's an extreme thing. It generates revenue for them. It gets the clicks, the views, all that bullshit. But the left, if they want to make any kind of change over the next 4 years as far as, like, people's mentalities, they need to stop engaging with this shit. Not this. This is great. I like what Professor Dave is doing here, but with these talking points in the media. So when somebody says to you like that, you think that they think there's transgender mice, all you should do is just laugh in their face really fucking loudly. That's the only response that you should have ever. If somebody tells you that there's transgender mice, you should just laugh really, really loudly in their face, look at them funny, and then walk away. You can also say, you're stupid, it's stupid, everything is stupid, before you leave as well. That's also acceptable.
The previous grant, they mention how sex hormones such as testosterone appear to influence the immune system, but those pesky sex chromosomes keep adding noise to the data. They say
No
they
shit,
could sort
Liz.
out the noise from
I
the
should know
data
that.
if we could just control for sex differences. They specifically are interested in how vaccine treatments induce differential immune responses between the two sexes, and looking at gene expression.
Too many words, dog. Too many words.
Differences within a sex could be an interesting way to generate hypotheses about what might be going on. Wait a minute, weren't there people in real life complaining about vaccine efficacy needing more research? I seem to recall a bunch of people whining about a recent vaccine being experimental and how we were all guinea pigs and they killed millions of people.
Yeah.
For those people to
Yeah.
be consistent with their wrongness, you'd think they'd be interested in experiments that could inform us about how we can prevent negative responses to vaccines, yeah? Especially if it looks like there might be sex-specific differences. Oh, but we would have to be able to control for sex. So their experimental model is essentially apply some amount of hormone to mice of a specific sex, administer the vaccine, and look at the genes that
Too
respond.
many words.
It sounds like if there are treatments outside of gender-affirming care that involve hormonal treatment, and there are, it could inform us about vaccine safety that affects those completely non-trans people as well. Crazy, huh?
He's doing a lot of
The
thinking.
most triggering parts of the grant, according to, let's call the intern Rory, were apparently, we propose to develop an animal model of feminizing hormone therapy to study the effects of estrogen anti-testosterone therapy on HIV vaccine-induced immune responses. And we will develop a mouse model of XHT, cross-sex hormone therapy, that recapitulates clinical hormone therapy for male-to-female trans...
No, you can just be in a Trump supporter's brain, though. They don't know what these words mean. And the thing about it is look, if I'm reading something and I don't understand it, fucking calculus, I just assume that I don't know enough about the subject, right? Like, sometimes I mean, I read a lot of books, right? So there's definitely times in some of these books where I'm reading something and I clearly don't understand it. And I go, okay, I don't understand that. And then I move on. I don't, like, engage with it because I know that I don't know enough to engage with it, right? I definitely don't assume because there's words in it that I don't like that it's bad or negative. I just say, you know, one of the books I'd point out is Politics from Aristotle. It's a very good book, but there are definitely, it's an old book. It's 2,000 years old or something like that. It's fucking old as fuck, right? I, while reading it, will come across some really, really old language and won't understand something that he's saying, right? And instead of like assuming that it's either negative or positive, I just kind of push it to the side for the time being. Think about it, like go to Google it and stuff like that later. I generally keep reading. I don't stop. And I just like kind of make a mental note to try and figure out what that word meant so that we can go back and try to recognize what the point he was trying to make was. But it's like the idea where people say things like, if you can't pronounce the ingredient in a food, you shouldn't eat it. I'm sorry. I come from the hippie era, right? As far as like what I do for a job and stuff. I've worked in the health food industry for 20 years. That's the dumbest shit ever. If somebody tells you don't eat something if you can't pronounce the ingredient, the idea of what they're trying to say has a basis, a foundation in logic, but what they're actually saying does not make sense. If you were to say you should know what the ingredients in your food are, therefore, if you see a word that you can't say or don't know what it means, then you should research that word to find out what it means, because then you can decide whether or not that ingredient would be healthy or not for you. Just saying if you can't pronounce it, it's bad is fucking stupid, okay? I'm sorry. I had so many people that I've been friends with, that I've worked with, that have had that mentality, and it drives me up a fucking wall. There is definitely bad shit in your food, and you definitely should be aware of the ingredients of what you're eating. Some of that shit causes cancer, for sure. But you cannot boil it down to, if you can't pronounce it, don't eat it. That is fucking... That's not logical.
Transition in humans. See this word model? In science, developing a model means to create a representation of a system for the purpose of making predictions. We don't make weather models by creating literal isolated weather systems. We don't actually recreate the early universe at the Large Hadron Collider. Likewise, in biology, we don't literally create transgender mice. They are models used to mimic real-life phenomena and can be used to ask a variety of questions depending on the limits of the model. Again, there are multiple good scientific reasons for studying hormonal effects within a sex, and transgender healthcare is just one extension of direct application from this model. Apparently, it's just too much to handle that trans people are one of the immediate beneficiaries of this research, so let's just ignore research that could help anyone who receives any vaccine. Very on theme for his...
Fan says, all these macho mega think that hormone therapy is bad, but don't realize that drinking beer will shrink your testicles because the hops work as an estrogenic substance. 100%, fan. Guess why I drink beers afterwards, after working out and stuff like that. Like, well, also because I like drinking beers. But check this out. Yeah, that's what hops do. They're good for that. They're good for the recovery and stuff like that because it's a sedative of sorts. And also, that's probably not. You should research that before you guys go drinking beers after lifting weights. I read this like 20 years ago. The science might not still be the same. But yeah, there's so many. Exactly, fan. This is what I'm saying. It's so fucking reductive. It's so reductive. Just at the end of the fucking day, dude, stop boiling shit down to, I hate this because of this. It's like, there's so many things in your lives that make that hypocritical to be like, estrogen bad. And then they're like, oh, did you know you produce it if you do this? Did you know if you eat this, it produces it? And you're like, oh, Jesus, I'm going to stay away from all of that. Like, no, it's not necessary. Just recognize that you don't need to be this invested in these subjects, as Fan was just saying. You can just say, like, if you want to do that with your life, that's totally fine. I'm going to do this with my life, and we're good. Was it Walls that said it? Mind your own fucking business. It's that fucking easy, man. It's that easy. Comparing drinking beer to cross-sex hormones and puberty blockers is crazy. Trent, he's making the point, Trent, that it's dumb. The idea that people are getting upset over these experiments without even understanding the most basic fucking explanation for it just shows how goddamn aggressively gullible human beings have become, specifically in MAGA. Because MAGA doesn't even take 2 seconds to fucking try to figure out what any of this means. They just hear Donald Trump say, trans bad, and they're like, yep, trans bad. Like, the point is not the comparison of hops to hormones. The point is the reductiveness of people saying trans mice exist, therefore bad. Like, that's the point.
His majesty. Number 3, reproductive consequences of steroid hormone administration. They start off talking about how there are few studies on the effects of cross-sex hormones on fertility. This might be a good point to remind everyone that there are numerous health issues that stem from an imbalance of endogenous hormones. Yes. So, a study like this
turns out the human body
pertain
really
to what we know about a multitude of hormonal disorders, including polycystic ovary disorder, which is thought to be due to an increase in male hormone production in women, affecting around 10% of the female population.
Dude, MAGA hears male hormone production in women and immediately think that means that the person's trans. Guarantee you. They're like, women have male hormones that makes them transgender. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's fucking reductive. There's so much shit in your body that you don't even fucking understand. You're just walking around with this insanely complicated biology that if just one fucking thing is off by a little bit, all kinds of shit happens. And this is the craziest part about all of this, is the human body, just one thing being off, one hormone being off, one thing being too large, one thing being too small. You can end up with a disability. You can end up with disease. You can end up with autoimmune problems or lack of immunity. Every one of us is flawed in some manner. And mind you, when I say flawed, I mean that in the most definitive way, okay? I don't mean it as a fucking pejorative. I mean it as all of us are flawed in some manner biologically. To act like because transgender people are more different than you are than another male that potentially has either a similar flaw or you don't know what that flaw is fucking dumb. There is no such thing as normal. There is no such thing. Normal is a fucking construct of the mind to make you feel better and in more control of your surroundings and environment. You're not normal. I'm not normal. No one's normal. Because normal does not exist. Everyone is different. It's just fucking, it's like I said, I hate the reductiveness of this mentality.
They comment on the lack of data on transgender individuals. Again, let's remind ourselves that there is a scientific reason to want to control for sex when studying hormones due to innate differences on average, and trans individuals just so happen to fit the bill as perfect patients for observing these effects in humans. By extension, controlling for sex in mice provides a powerful experimental model to test hormonal treatments, with the authors stating, "This model provides a powerful tool to clarify the effects of T therapy on reproductive phenotype and function in a manner not possible in humans."
Like, people don't understand either that, like, it's actually a good thing that people that have these differences exist. It's actually good because they can test these things because they do exist. If these things didn't exist or they didn't exist, you would have to come up with a whole new way to test these things in the first place. This is my fucking point. This is why I think the fucking party of me over the party of we bullshit of fucking MAGA is insane. It takes all of us to fucking make this work. Like, if you lose a certain group of people, you lose access to what they provide. Like, nobody wants to be, like, it's insane that MAGA wants people to be fucking, like, you have to fit in this cookie cutter. Like, you shouldn't want that. You shouldn't, like, it's fine to want the nuclear family for you, 100%. You should, if that's what you're into, that's great. It's fine to be heterosexual. If that's what you're into, that's fucking great. But it's also 100% okay to be transgender, to be non-binary, to fucking call yourself whatever the fuck you want. Like, at the end of the day, as long as that person's not harming anybody else, they're actually a benefit to society, and we need them. You don't realize that because we live in America where we have an entitlement problem, where everybody doesn't understand what it's like to live outside of America, to live in places where things are actually bad, where you actually experience adversity on a more consistent basis. And it causes this problem where instead we have all this time where we sit around and we think about these things that make us angry, hateful, and fearful of the other. And that should be the opposite. You should be using all this time, this amazing amount of time that you're provided, to instead enrich yourself, make yourself better educated, to find reasons to understand why transgender people are beneficent to our society. That's the better use of your time.
Despite all the things we could learn about fertility in men and women, the fact that the repercussions could include providing healthcare to trans people is much too scary. So we are now banning controlling for sex.
Weird
Sorry to the
science.
1 in 10 men and women who struggle with infertility. Donald says go fuck yourself. According to Rory, the key triggering statements in this grant were, the impact of long-term cross-sex hormone therapy on reproductive health is largely unknown, particularly in transgender men, female to male or FTM.
What about it?
And none
Why
of
is
the
that triggering?
existing animal models that address the effect of androgens on reproductive function in females are directly applicable to the clinical paradigm of cross-sex T therapy in transgender men, or GnRHA T therapy
transgender multiple
in
times.
transgender
They're really
adolescents.
triggered.
To address this knowledge gap, we have developed a mouse model to mimic T treatment for FTM gender transition. So to summarize, there is a knowledge gap, and current models cover X relevant health issue, and they designed one that covers X plus 1 relevant health issues. Apparently, increased efficiency
nothing fucking
gives
wrong
Donnie
with
B
this.
Cups the runs, so let's cut him some slack. Moving on. Cross-sex steroid therapy and cardiovascular risk in the transgender female. Again, we need to get past the scary words talking about trans individuals and
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's the moment the word pops up, it's fucking triggering. They just trigger, and then they can't think past that. Like, I mean, I read books about fucking white supremacists and stuff. I don't like it. I don't like the shit they did. I don't like their ideology. But I don't fucking stop reading and just fucking block it all out and just be like bad. No, I want to know what the fuck, why, what is the results? Like, what conclusion can I draw from this? If you see the word transgender and it makes you upset, there's something wrong with you. I'm sorry. But there's something wrong with you.
Get into the actual science. They mentioned that their observations that individuals that were born male and receive hormones for gender-affirming treatment have an increased risk for cardiovascular disease. So presumably there is a molecular mechanism underlying this phenomenon.
Yes.
The words talk
Yes.
about the benefits to trans people, but by understanding the science associated with it, this research can easily apply to cisgendered people. If we understand the effects of hormone X in males versus females on cardiovascular health, we can come up with better treatments for anyone with cardiovascular
That's
issues.
a crazy video.
They end with how this grant will improve their skills, which is a sign that it was written by a student. So they defunded a graduate student and their science that would contribute
Jesus
to knowledge about cardiovascular disease because it contains words about transgender people. But who cares about people with cardiovascular problems? If you
Jesus
eat nothing but
Christ.
McDonald's every day, you deserve to die, right? Rory found this grant particularly
God damn it,
triggering,
man.
as him highlighted several sections of it. The Alexander Laboratory has developed a novel model of feminizing hormone therapy in the male rat that involves administration of E2 to mimic physiological levels observed in age-matched female rats in conjunction with androgen suppression.
Okay. I just, if you're, this is how dumb people are. Oh, it really makes me so fucking disappointed, so sad for the human race. If people were capable, if doctors, scientists were capable of showing that increasing estrogen levels in a male led to less heart disease, would you be against men having estrogen in their body? If your answer is yes, because that would make you transgender, you're a moron. This idea we have where we have defined things as a certain name, title, description, right? If we're going to get to a point where it's like men can't have estrogen because that's bad, because men shouldn't have estrogen. You're going to need to explain to me in a way that makes sense why that's true. Because if you were to say to me, if we increased estrogen levels and in men, they would have less heart disease. And I'm not saying that's what this report is saying. I was just thinking about this, and I'm giving this as an example. I would tell you that we should be encouraging more estrogen in men so that way we have less heart disease. Because dying bad, estrogen okay. All right? I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. I just made this shit up. And this is where we're at right now with people, is they've got this in their head for whatever reason. If you do X, you're feminine. If you do X, you're masculine. If you do this or that, whatever. And what it really comes down to is if you do something, that's you. It's just you. You're unique. You are a person. You are made of, like I said, a complicated biology that may or may not have some defects and flaws in it. And if you do something, that's you. Yes, are there behaviors? Look, I'm a Steven Pinker fan, right? Are there behaviors that are more inherently seen in men or women? Yes. Stereotypically, we can say that certain things happen more often. But there's a certain age where that becomes less and less true, right? Outside of a certain age, it's less and less true. When you're creating your neural pathways as a child, when you're a baby, when you're a toddler, you create all these neural pathways, right? And some of them are discarded and some of them are kept. And that's why when you're a child, it's really important when you're very, very young. If you want your kid to be an athlete, then you're going to want to, try to drive them more and more towards, physical skills. If you want them to be a mathlete, then you're going to want to drive them more and more towards, educational stuff like math. But even with that being said, if they don't have the right, tools for it, they'll never end up being an athlete or they'll never end up being a mathlete. But no matter what, they're just them. And it's just this reductive part of who we are to want to control and define things, to say, this is this way, and I know it to be true. But there's an endless amount of factors that go into any single equation, especially when it comes to being a human being. And the reductiveness of MAGA is what drives me nuts about them. And I've had this conversation with religious people as well, and it drives me nuts as well. If the only way that you can explain something is by saying because God, or because that's as I know it to be, if that's it, and there's no evidence or facts behind it, you don't really have an argument. If your argument is if I say gender as an expression is different than biological sex, and gender as an expression can be expressed in any fucking way a person wants to because it is 100% a social construct. Mind you, I came from the belief that there is only two genders. I started with the belief that there is only two genders. After being challenged on my opinion, I did my research. I looked into real science, and I looked at Social Constructions. The Social Leap by William von Hippel is a great book. Jonathan Haidt's book, Happiness Hypothesis, a great book. I looked into social psychology. I looked into what a social construct was. I didn't know what a social construct was. I was unaware. It was a word I didn't know. I looked into that. I looked into the history of different cultures. I looked at how gender was specified in those cultures. And after doing a lot of fucking research, I went, actually, I might be wrong about that. And that's where I came to and said, gender, as expressed as a social construct, can be anywhere on the spectrum. Whereas biological sex can generally be defined. I say generally because it's not always defined, because there's intersex, there's other, like I said, things that happen within the body that are different, but can generally be expressed as an XX or XY chromosome. There is a lot that goes into all of these things. And if you're going to reduce that down to, because God, you're a moron. I'm sorry. Literally, I'm using that as a definitive term, not as a pejorative. You have a low IQ. You look to a unreasonable solution. You look to it and say, this thing that you cannot define and I cannot define tells me that this thing is true, therefore it is true. That's not logical. If you want to provide an argument that is based up with science and facts, that gender as a social construct is not allowed to be somewhere on a spectrum, I'm happy to look into that, as I did the first time. But you can't. Because like I said, I've seen both sides of this argument. I've had both sides of this argument. All right. Let's leave it there. If you guys want to watch the rest of the video, did I already put it in here? That's Professor Dave. Professor Dave's a much fucking smarter person than I'll ever be. But if you want to hear him fucking tear apart the rest of these arguments, go watch the video for sure. I love Professor Dave. I think he's amazing. And like I said, I like it because the dude is fucking, like, he comes with facts and evidence. It's a 40-minute video taking apart a fucking 2-second sentence from Donald Trump. Now, mind you, I do think at the same time that you're never going to reach Trump supporters with these types of arguments. Because like I said, they want a very basic thing. They want to hear, you're right. That's male, that's female, that's it. Like, they don't want to think about the fact that gender could be different than biological sex. They don't want to think about the fact that, you know, a man can be born with elevated levels of estrogen and that may never come uncovered, or it may lead to them choosing to live their life different than you do. That's fucking the way it is. 5-alarm fire, $10. Thank you. Thank you. This is the reason why I fully support you. You take time to educate yourself on many issues as I do. Good job, 5-alarm. Like I said, we're meeting. Most of us, even a couple of my Trump supporter people that come through. I still believe in you guys. I still want you guys to come back. I think that the way to bring in the type of people that want to have conversations like this is to have these conversations. I was just thinking about this the other day. What did I say? We were talking about the couple people now that have been found to have lost their Social Security benefits because they've been declared dead. There was the one guy who lost his Social Security benefits because he was declared a foreigner because he was born on a German base, on a German army base, but he's an American. He lost his Social Security because of that. There's another man that it was claimed that he was dead in Seattle, that they had to get his benefits back. And while we were making this argument, me and the person that were discussing this, the reason I liked having this conversation was the person initially said, first of all, I want to tell you that I do not know that there are multiple reports of this. I just know of these 2 instances. So it's very important because he starts by saying, look, I'm not making the argument that people worldwide are losing their Social Security. I'm making the argument that there's a possibility that it could happen based off of this small amount of evidence that I have. Now, this is a person that generally agrees with me on a lot of subjects, yet still in this conversation, he decided to, qualify what he was about to say by also adding that this may not be a totality of evidence. And in saying that, I was talking to him, and I made I think I made an assumption, but I might have read this in the same story. And I said, yeah, I think it also turns out that the government doesn't have to pay back missed Social Security payments. And almost immediately he went, and I like that. You know why I like that? Because it makes me go, oh shit, am I wrong? My wife does it to me. Both my bosses do it to me. Certain people in my life do not just say I'm right. I'm not surrounded by yes men, right? And I'm so appreciative of their ability to say I'm wrong, sometimes just with their face. But in saying that to him, almost immediately, I was like, oh, wait, I don't know that that's true. And I said that. I said, hold on. I see you are looking at me like you do not believe what I am saying. You're probably correct. I could be either making an assumption. I read a lot of shit. I could be making an assumption. I could be not understanding what was said in the article, and I could just be straight up be remembering a different article about a different subject, and I am using the like material on accident. And that almost immediately made me go, A, I shouldn't be saying this if I don't know that, and B, I should look into that and make sure that if I am going to say it, that I'm correct. And this is a long way of saying about a 5-alarm fire. What he just said is, I like you guys pushing back on me. I like having conversations with people where I have to say to myself, oh shit, am I wrong about that? Oh, I hope I'm right about that. A lot of times I am right. I have a really good memory. So generally I hit a lot of home runs, but I also strike out, So thank you for the donation, and thank you for being here. Where's Redonk? I don't know where Redonk is today. Redonk works really crazy hours, so he's probably working his ass off right now. Don't let them confuse you with intersex garbage. Again, it's less than 1% of the population and not a distinct biological sex. That's part of the woke ideology. That's insane. There is, so I don't want to talk about that because I don't know enough about the subject. So let me just say that. I know very little about intersex and all that business. I know of certain things, and I know that it's an extremely small percentage of the population. But I don't want to talk about that because I don't know anything. I don't know enough about it. Let's see. What's up, Muriel? Welcome. Yeah, the $5,000 was taken from their bank accounts. Yeah. Yeah, it's what we talk about while they rob the country blind. Yes, there's much more important things. There's much more important things to talk about. And though I do like having fun, and like I said before, don't let these fucking people steal your joy. And don't forget to laugh and have a good time. I also spend an immense amount of my time, my free time, educating myself on all of these things, and I think you should too. I think that this country as a whole needs to stop using so much of its time to be angry, to be hateful, to be fearful, to be worrisome and anxiety driven, and it should be spending a lot more of its time educating itself and learning about the world that surrounds them. Because the antidote to fear of the other is education. Because fear of the other is embodied by ignorance. And the way to no longer be ignorant, the very meaning of the word, the definition of the word, is to educate yourself. And when you learn about these subjects and about these people, you become less afraid because you recognize where you had holes in your logic and you understand that there's no real reason for you to be afraid. So, if there is one thing I could do in this world for this society, it would be try to get people to be more educated. And I don't mean that in the big L liberal fucking condescending manner. I mean it in a personal enrichment manner. You will feel better when you become better educated, when you are less ignorant, and you will become less fearful. Thank you for the 4 months of subscribing, Silent Siren. You've been here forever. You've been here forever. I appreciate you guys. Yeah, Heather Cox Richardson, I should try. So I'm trying. I've sent shit to Bernie Sanders. I'm sending shit to AOC. I'm sending shit to everybody. This whole game is you send 100 emails, and if you get one person to say yes, you're fucking doing okay. So, I have sent countless emails to people across the spectrum in attempts. I've even tried to get a local Republican politician to come on the podcast, but they declined. But I do. I continue to try for the interviews, and I will work on Heather Cox Richardson as well. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I can't say that enough. Thank you so much. Thank you for pushing back on me. Thank you for being here. Thank you for discussing things with each other. Remember, you're all on the same team. You all have the same fundamental values. We don't do this by ourselves. We do this together. Please continue. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And the next show will be Wednesday at 5 p.m. for politics. Don't forget to check out the Angry Ginger Clips stream. Or I'm sorry, channel. Angry Ginger Clips channel. If you don't want to watch these long 3-hour live streams and just want to see them in smaller portions, I put out videos over on that. Don't forget to join the Discord. There is notifications for people to join the Discord to join the live stream. So join the Discord and talk to the cool people. And yeah. All right, guys. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And I hope to see you.